see the daylight, I should be alright. When I see the night, can feel the night. Oh no, can feel the night. Oh no, can feel the night. Oh no, feel the night. Oh no. feelings for you.
Well, you missed the intro, so hey guys, what's going on?
You just turned the music off.
It's been on. Well, there you go, you missed it.
Well,
hey guys,
what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Hump
Fan
Day.
Report. Hump Day.
Hey! What day is it? What day is it?
What day?
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
As you guys can tell,
Someone point it
we've got a guest here,
Yeah,
a special guest over here.
guy.
My boy over here,
Pac-Man Mike.
You may have seen him before or heard from him before on a local podcast, GWA. It's Gamers with Attitude. So he's here hanging out with us, going to talk some video games.
What's up, guys? How are you? It's good to be here.
Sexual
I'm excited.
voice.
Oh,
Very,
very, very.
I liked it.
Yes.
I liked it.
What's up, guys?
It's going good.
So, as always, this fan report is brought to you by fans.
For fans.
As always. Again, topics up over here as usual. Oh, I went in. Topics up over here. He's gonna say hi to him as he always does. So again, guys, hope you guys have a lot of fun tonight because we're about to. It's gonna be a great show. We got a lot to talk about. A little more video games than usual. Laying off sports a little bit. Not too much has happened outside of March Madness. So I don't think we've talked to you guys since the finals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe we have. No, because finals would have been Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll break out with some of that to start. But if you like what you see tonight, please feel free to hit the follow button down below. North Carolina, like I said. Please feel free to hit the follow button down below. And as always, if you guys have any topics you want to suggest or just interact with us, you can hit us up on Twitter at RealFanReport. The link is right underneath, over there. Okay.
Underneath the big blue guy.
Underneath the big blue
Big
guy.
blue
So
turtle,
again,
big
guys,
blue guy.
hope you guys have fun. We're about to, so let's hit it. All right, so we're gonna start off with some March Madness recap. I know March is one of the best months of the year for sports because it's constant action.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
And
great.
we just wrapped up a beautiful March.
Beautiful.
A wonderful March.
BEA beautiful.
Yes.
What movie is that from?
I know it.
Is that Bruce Almighty?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Woo! So,
Good job.
thank you. Man, now I lost my train of thought. But anyways,
March Madness.
March Madness,
How
yes.
to spell beautiful?
you know, I still. Speaking of weird
Are
ways
we
to spell
already off
things.
topic?
Yes, but speaking of weird ways to spell things, do you always spell Wednesday? Speaking, very relevant.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always
That's
remember
exactly
how to spell it.
Yeah. Wednesday.
And Hello That
Wednesday.
Girl probably taught you how to spell bananas, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, real quick, before we start. Are you guys familiar with the Mandela Paradox?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, real quick. You remember that book with the bears?
Yes.
What's it called?
The Berenstein Bears.
The Berenstein Bears. It's not. It's Berenstain Bears.
No,
This
no.
shit blew me away.
No. It's Berenstein Bears. There's photographic proof as well.
No.
Yeah, there is. I've seen a photo. I've
Are we in an
remember
alternate
distinctly.
universe?
No, it's when two universes collide. That's what happens.
What's up?
Yeah.
I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's Beren. I
It's-
literally grew up Berenstein Bears,
Yeah.
but
This
it's
is my
apparently
favorite topic.
Berenstain Bears. It blew me away.
Yeah.
I was so shocked when I saw it because I always remember Berenstein.
So I distinctly remember Arizona winning this national championship.
Bro,
But-
you do not because Arizona, I told you from the beginning, was not going to come close. They're trash. They are trash.
Yeah. I had
Nice
Arizona
try.
out like in the first couple of
I'm
rounds.
pretty
No,
sure
no.
I did too. Yeah, you
No.
were dumb.
No.
You were. You know who? You know what?
They
You know what
definitely
pick?
won.
Mandela effect,
No.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know what pick you stole from me though?
Like the Monopoly
Rhodey,
guy.
Rhode Island,
No.
and then you decided to ride that horse into the death.
Elite Eight.
Yeah, you rode that horse to the Elite Eight. They were done well before that. My God.
They could have done it. They could have done it.
They could have, but they didn't.
They could have.
So,
They were like-
almost switched my pick for like 5 minutes left before the brackets locked. I was gonna say Michigan beating Louisville and then going on again.
yeah, that's where
And then-
I lost.
and
that
then
one.
I was
lost on
like-
Michigan.
I just didn't bother with it, and then I watched the game and I'm like, I was so like happy Michigan won, but at the same time I'm like, oh well. But I did okay in my bracket.
So obviously UNC won the tournament.
Yeah.
a great season. By a great season by a great team.
All the way back.
Basketball superstardom at that point. I mean, Roy Williams is a hell of a coach, definitely a Hall of Famer, sure thing at this point, no
Yeah.
doubt. And that team again, proving that one and dones do not equal championships because they do not have any one and dones on that team.
Yeah.
That's another Roy Williams, a bona fide Roy Williams team that has proven to be successful at every step of the way.
Mhm.
And kind of a big fuck you to John Calipari over at Kentucky. I mean, he took them out, and that was a hell of a game too.
I
that
always
Kentucky
like
game.
seeing Kentucky lose.
I do too.
So-
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. They're so hard to like.
I know they're exactly like the Yankees.
Yes,
But of college
but they're
basketball.
also there's two teams in college basketball I just cannot find a way to like, and it's Kentucky and it's Duke, and they always are the two teams that seem to have the best talent coming
Now-
in, and they always underachieve.
That's true. Now Duke, you just don't like the school. What about Coach Krzyzewski?
Legendary coach. I think he's a bit of a scumbag,
Okay.
but a legendary coach, no doubt.
Why? Just because of that weird ass last name?
No,
It makes
I think
everyone
his
try
last
to
name's
pronounce it?
cool.
Or makes someone try to
He was
pronounce
also,
it?
he was also the
Krzyzewski.
USA coach.
Yeah, he's definitely a great USA coach, but I can't like Duke because
I
it's,
wanna
it's
see
New
You
York
can't like
Yankee
him, but
effect.
I got
It's a New York Yankee effect.
mad respect for
I wanna see
Oh,
Krzyzewski in the
absolutely.
NBA.
Krzyzewski's awesome.
I want to see him in the NBA.
I do too, but
He's
problem
never
is
I
though,
feel like he has
problem
been
is
before.
how many
Why?
coaches have their
Della.
how many coaches translate to the college coaches translate to the NBA? Very, very few. Larry Brown was one of them.
Larry Brown
But
was
since
one.
Larry Brown, there's really not many. There's Butler's old head coach who now coaches
Brad
for
Stevens.
Brad Stevens, who
Celtics.
coaches the Celtics. I mean, he's one that's translated. But outside of a handful of guys, college coaches in basketball translate nowhere near as well as they do in football, and we see
Yeah.
a lot of them in football struggle.
Pete Carroll.
So, Pete Carroll's one of them that's been successful.
Yeah,
in
that's
both
an
forms.
exception there.
Yeah, but
Jim Harbaugh.
I mean, okay, there's another one.
Other way though, but yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
actually, no. He did come from Stanford.
He
Okay.
did go from Stanford to the NFL to
Back to
college.
Michigan.
So
Woo, Michigan,
So-
go blue.
yeah, we got a Michigan fan in the house.
Yeah.
But anyways, so talking about Michigan being one of those teams that obviously overachieved. Nobody expected them to do what they did. They were
Uh-huh.
hands down the hottest team going into the tournament outside of maybe Duke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Duke got.
yeah,
They got
so
the book hit.
that's going to bring us into, we're going to break down who we think was the most overachieving team and the most underachieving team. And I think everyone in this room will say South Carolina is hands down the most overachieving team.
Absolutely.
Nobody
No.
expected them to do what they did. They
Yeah.
had such a tough road to go to the finals, and they were incredible.
And the only people that picked South Carolina were people living in South Carolina.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we started picking South Carolina late just because it was fun. It was fun to watch them. We're like, you know what, fuck it, we're gamblers, let's do it. So, but one team that I thought really overachieved, even though their seeding may not say that, is Oregon. How many
I
people
agree.
had Oregon going into the Final Four? Because I didn't.
The team that Mike, who won our bracket.
Well,
They
that's
also had the
only
Craig
person I've
championship
seen.
game, the winner and the score.
And the score, too?
And the score.
Holy shit.
Oh.
The fuck?
Damn!
Wow.
I now think he's
I
the
had
future.
half the championship game right.
So, tell me about some future stocks then.
And he also had the second place bracket too. He won first and second in our pool.
Wow.
I think he cheated.
He had to have. He had to have known.
How can you cheat though?
He had to have. It's
Wait,
like it's
the Mandela
like
effect.
Exactly.
it's like your cousin that knew that AJ Green was going to get hurt as soon as he traded for him.
Unreal. Have you heard this story, Mike?
No.
So during the fantasy football season,
Yeah.
I traded for AJ Green.
So
and
you got AJ Green.
I got AJ
Okay.
Green.
Okay. Who'd you give up?
And I got AJ Green and Dak Prescott for Brady.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, and then I get
Which
a text.
Brady carried him to his only wins.
I get a text from actually no, what was me? My cousin Will gets a text from my cousin that traded with me, and he goes, why did you just trade away AJ Green? And he goes, don't worry, he's gonna get hurt next game. Sure enough, second play of the game, AJ Green out for the year, torn hamstring.
Yep.
What? Is this the same guy?
No.
Different guy. I think his whole family, except this guy,
Wow.
has way too much insight on the future. Because this guy, literally, the future could be standing right in front of him, and he wouldn't see it because he's literally
Hey,
garbage
I
at
actually ended up
fantasy
winning
football.
that trade, by the way. Just saying. Dak Prescott actually outscored Brady for the rest of that season.
Yeah, right. I
You
find
did.
that hard to
We
believe.
told that
Whatever.
up.
Yeah, but you blew your season away by that, so that's beside the point.
So if I had AJ Green, that would have been just plus.
Speaking of the
It
Cowboys,
still would have been terrible.
Tony Romo.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
now
Yeah.
a broadcaster.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I have a theory about this. I think Jerry Jones forced Tony Romo's hand with this. And I threw that up on our Twitter, which got no response.
Starting Dak Prescott?
No, he forced his hand this offseason. Jerry Jones was very refusing to trade Tony Romo. And there was so many reports about how, we're going to trade him, let's find some suitors. Then they kind of fizzled away. Oh, and then it comes out that, they're just going to cut him, let him release him and let him go wherever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Never happened.
Mm-hmm.
They were pussyfooting around on that. So,
Yeah, they even
at that point,
gave
basically it was, okay, Tony.
date to cut.
Yeah, exactly. It was, okay, Tony, either you can sit on the bench for us and play as a backup, because we're not going to let you play for someone else, or you can retire. That's how I think they forced Tony Romo's hand, was by forcing him to retire. They wouldn't cut him, because they don't want to play against him. I don't blame him. He's got the 4th highest QB rating in the history of the game, career QB rating in the history of the game. They don't want to play against him, and they don't want to, you could get something back for him, but you still don't want to play because that's a franchise QB. Granted, he's like 90.
An opposing AFC GM came out and said there's a 100% chance Tony Romo comes back.
Oh,
And then Tony Romo responded by saying
Could
there's
you
a 99%
imagine-
chance that he doesn't come back.
Could you? Okay, but he has to say that. He signed a contract with CBS.
Well, he said, he didn't say 100, he said
But-
99.
Okay,
So
how about
he's
this
saying
though?
There's a chance.
Is the CBS broadcast gonna be better with Tony Romo than Phil Simms?
Yes.
I think it will be too. I think it will be too. But
So you're just basing that off you think Phil Simms is terrible because we have no idea how good Tony Romo is.
that's very true. Well, we do. He actually did some broadcasting last year. I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
I did not.
Or he did some analysis in the offseason. I don't remember. But I thought we heard Tony Romo in the booth at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cowboys weren't going to play against him.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones said, fine, play for us or retire. And Tony Romo, at that point, had no choice. So, plus he probably got a sweet deal from CBS. But on top of that, you saying that Tony Romo playing again probably this year. If Dak Prescott goes down, do you know who their backup quarterback is?
No.
Exactly, it's Kellen Moore.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah.
That's right.
If you want to know,
They re-signed him,
the
yeah.
the
Yeah, they
bona
did sign
fide, not a professional, not a pro quarterback for arm strength reasons, it's Kellen Moore. The guy literally, his ball floats. It gets where it needs to be, but it floats.
Yep.
I mean, it floats like it's bad.
Worked for Boise
So
State, though.
I really don't think. Yeah, but he was perfect for Boise
Yeah,
State.
it's
But I
okay.
really don't think Jerry Jones is going to be okay with Kellen Moore being the
Yeah.
quarterback. So he's smart on this. He's a mastermind. He's stashing Romo away. Nobody can touch him but him.
Yeah.
And he's stashing him away for when and if Dak Prescott goes down.
Yeah, because he can just be like CBS. Hey, here's the buyout for Romo's contract. I
Yep,
want
exactly.
that.
Jerry Jones got more money than anyone.
Jerry's World.
Exactly. It's Jerry's world down in
Jerry's
Dallas,
world,
so-
and we're all living in it.
Well, that's the NFL for you. Roger and Jerry, that's all you get. So, but
We
That
got
should be
off
a comic
topic.
strip.
This is so...
we're so on topic.
like the Biden Obama memes.
Jerry and Roger memes.
Yeah,
That's
by the
awesome.
way, so back to my story. So anyway, so about 3 weeks later, after it came out that AJ Green was out for the season, my cousin calls me up and goes, "I feel bad. I'll take AJ Green back from you." I'm like, "Why would you ever do that?" He goes, "Because I feel bad. I'll give you Cam Meredith, who's trash, but he's better than nothing."
He was doing something.
He was
at
doing
some
something.
point. At some point
So-
right here.
I'm like, "Just for AJ Green?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right, thank you."
All right.
So I took Cam Meredith.
Guess what? AJ Green comes back next week.
Next day comes out. Oh, AJ Green didn't actually tear his hamstring. He's fine.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Oh. I don't know where this man's getting this. He's got to have a bookie or something. He's got way too much information. It's got to be coming from him.
No, Back to the Future Sports Almanac from the future. That's how it is.
But, so, anyways, way off topic. Hello.
Anyway.
But going back on topic of March Madness. So, obviously, we think South Carolina is one of those teams that overachieved. I think Oregon's another one. Michigan, obviously.
Well,
They were basically a team. Xavier's another one. You're right. Xavier was a huge overachieving team. I mean, even Rhode Island, I think, overachieved for a little bit, but Xavier was a huge overachieving team. But
As far as underachievers, I'm going to be the first one to throw out there. Arizona, Jesus Christ.
Duke. They were the hottest team going into the tournament. They're a household name. They had amazing
Yeah, I was
talent.
going for a nice bet with them too, anyways.
Why?
I just wasn't high.
They
on
were
them.
hands down the hottest team
They
going
were
into
the
the tournament.
hottest team.
They
but
were
most-
believed to be a team that was going to have a real good shot and threaten their way to a national championship.
Yeah,
They were
it was-
hot.
it was 'cause
they
they were
got,
hot.
They got, but they got they
They
got
got
all their
underachieved
talent
for
back.
most of the
Yes,
year.
but they got because they were hurt.
Yeah.
They got all that talent back in the last month of the year, and that's why they were so hot. They were better than anyone, better than UNC, better than Arizona, better than Oregon, better than every single team out there. They were the hottest team going into the tournament with a lot of health, and then they flamed out like Duke normally does in the tournament.
What round did they get? Remind me, what round did they get out in?
They were out in the top 32, weren't they?
No,
Sweet 16. They were out in the Sweet 16.
So they made it to the Sweet 16
Yes.
game?
Which is about standard for Duke. I mean,
Might
they
have
were
even
Sweet
gone
16
further
and
than
drop
that.
out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I'd say Louisville,
Another-
too.
Louisville, yeah, definitely.
Losing
I mean, they
Nova.
got beat. Villanova's a huge one. Yes, agreed. I mean, there's.
Oh, yeah,
quite a few
Nova got
teams.
out first weekend, right?
Round two.
Round 2, yeah, top 32.
Round of 32.
Yeah.
To who they lose to? Xavier?
No.
No.
I forgot who they lost to, be honest with
Didn't
you.
they lose to South Carolina?
Probably.
They might have.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, there's a lot of teams that underachieved, and I think there's more teams this year that underachieved than overachieved. We didn't have that huge Cinderella.
You had two number ones in the
Right, you could argue that South Carolina was a Cinderella, but they were still a pretty high seed. Well, they were a 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not that high of a seed, but they still,
I mean,
they were
they were arguably the
vastly
hardest bracket.
Yes, they were a vastly underrated team, though.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously hindsight sees 2020, but going into the
I
tournament, they
think
were better
Michigan
than a 7 seed.
overachieved in my opinion.
Michigan did overachieve, and I think that had a lot to do with the team was playing well above its potential.
Okay, we're being washed. South Carolina, really? Just pops up my phone from Chive about chicks from South Carolina.
But Michigan was a team that was playing well above their potential, well above what they were supposed to be able to, well above what their talent
Yeah.
dictated. And a lot of that, you could say, had to do with the little plane incident. Could have rallied the team together.
Or it could have rattled them. And
Or it could have, yeah, exactly. It could have gone the other way. Or it could have just been the team was playing extremely well together. Teams can hit a stride and just go for it. And
Yeah.
that's what
And
Michigan did.
If against Oregon, the shot falls a different way. I mean,
Exactly.
They could have been in the Final Four.
You can't be mad about them taking a 3 in that spot because you have a good 3-point shooter in Derrick Walton Jr. taking that shot. Your best player in a spot where he can make it, and he was open. He had a good shot. It was a great shot, actually, in my opinion, because Michigan lived and died by the 3 throughout the whole tournament. Why turn away at that point? So, and not to mention the team that they lost to was a team that went to the Final Four, so you can't really hang your head too low on that one.
Exactly. So, like, it woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Granted, I'm not
Yeah.
someone who really believes in good wins or good loss. A loss is a loss, in my opinion. But if there's a team I'd rather lose to, it's one of the teams that top 4 teams, not one of the bottom 60.
Exactly.
So there is such thing as a bad loss, in my opinion. But
Like what state Michigan State had.
Is there any team in
Michigan? Okay, Michigan State ended up losing to Kansas. See, Kansas was a team I thought was Kansas, a team that underachieved, in my opinion.
They always underachieve, though.
They're another team that does
I never
underachieve.
take Kansas seriously.
Kansas and Duke are 2 teams that seem to underachieve when it comes to the tournament.
And they're always like the highest power in
Yeah,
basketball.
they are.
basketball.
There's 3 powerhouses in basketball. True powerhouse of basketball. It's UNC, Duke, and Kentucky, and Kansas. There's 4.
There's
sorry.
4, yeah.
There's 4. Those are the basketball blue bloods, the purebreds that gets all the talent, and everybody else gets the rest. And most of those teams outside of UNC seem to underachieve in the tournament. So does it have to do with one and dones? We've talked about that in the past on this show. Are one and dones actually any good? I mean, for talent wise and fun to watch, hell yeah. But when it comes to winning the tournament, I would beg to differ because you don't see many one and done teams or team built around one and done's winning
I
tournament.
mean, even look at the Fab Five. They never won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too close.
They came close.
Yeah.
But,
granted, they cheated. So
In hindsight, though, is there any team you would say was overseeded?
overseeded.
We talked about underseeded, but we didn't talk about anybody being overseeded.
Well, I thought Wichita State was underseeded. I thought Rhode Island was a little bit underseeded. I thought South Carolina was underseeded. I thought, man, that's tough. It's a tough call. Overseeded. Yes. Who did Michigan State beat in the first round?
Miami?
Yeah,
Yes.
Miami.
Miami was a team that I thought was a little bit overseeded. I thought they weren't as good as they were a 6th seed, I believe. I don't think they were as good.
No, I
as
think it was 8-9 matchup, wasn't
that
it?
wasn't 8-9, so maybe not Miami.
Yeah. One that comes to mind for me is Butler at 4.
Granted, you had them beating UNC, so
Yeah.
Butler at 4
The
definitely was a
seeding
team.
really sold me. Even
Yes.
and their record against top 25 teams sold me.
Yes,
and their
but-
defense.
Butler, yeah, but their defense wasn't even the best defense in the tournament. I mean, Press Virginia had. That's another team that really overachieved, in my opinion. Press Virginia, they had the best defense going in, and they played lights out. They hit they beat some good teams. So, Press Virginia, solid team, probably a little bit underseeded. But Butler, I do agree, was a little bit overseeded. I mean, that 4 seed for them seemed a little bit lofty. They weren't as good as what the numbers say. So, but they had a good regular season, but they're another team.
Would you say Villanova was overseeded at 1 or no?
No, they were a true number one. They're just your typical number one that flames out in the tournament.
Yeah.
They were a true number one based off of what they did over the regular season, but when it comes to the tournament, a lot of times you don't see those number ones really going that far because of the fact that maybe their schedules really aren't all that tough. But so I mean, I've been saying all year that Villanova's a fraud. They're not as good as the record says. They're not as good as what their seeding says.
And it was also carryover from the year before when they won.
Exactly. I mean, they, in my opinion, were an absolute fraud. They had a lot of carryover, like you said, from the previous year, and they had a lot of, their schedule's really not that difficult. They didn't really play that tough of a schedule. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of teams where you get blinded by the fact that, hey, your schedule's really cupcake. I mean, look at Michigan football. But
last thing we want to touch on is last thing we want to touch on is Wisconsin. First of all, I would think they were a bit underseeded.
oh, Minnesota, way overseeded. A 5? Are you shitting me?
They weren't even favored in their own game in round of 64.
A 5? Get out of here with that. Holy shit, I can't believe I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I kind of took Minnesota in the first round.
Oh, that was a big
man.
mistake.
Yeah.
Wisconsin was a team that was, I think, was a
See,
little
I love
underseeded,
taking
yes.
upsets, and when the upset's favored, there's virtually no way I'm not taking it.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking the higher seeded team at that point.
But yeah,
Obviously, no.
I would say Wisconsin actually overachieved.
Yes, Wisconsin. No, I don't say they overachieved because Wisconsin's a good ball club, and they always seem to be a good tournament.
But based
team.
on their seeding,
Based on their
really
seeding,
so you
yes.
would say more they were.
Yes, they do have a lot of size.
You would
Definitely,
say more they were
Wisconsin has a lot of
underseeded
size.
than they overachieved.
Yes, I would say they're more underseeded than overachieved. Absolutely. So, but
Alright.
what was your favorite moment of the tournament?
The final seconds of that Michigan-Oregon game.
Okay. West Virginia. One of my favorite moments was the final seconds of the game-winning shot for UNC over Kentucky. That shot was, that play was run so well.
That was one of my favorite moments. I
Yeah,
was playing.
yeah. One of my most "what the hell is going on" moments was West Virginia's final possession.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, what the hell was that? If you want to
Most
learn,
of the calls in the national championship game.
yes, if you want to learn how to not run a final possession, just go watch West Virginia's final possession, people, because
Remember, we
they had
said
one guy literally dribbling out the clock,
we
and
said
then he randomly
defense
goes
was
to
their
a guy at
special
half
team.
court.
We said defense was especially. Not
Yes,
offense.
not offense. But no, that was.
So your one shining moment would be that game winner.
I'd have to say Louisville losing to Michigan.
It is always fun to watch Louisville go down.
Yeah,
it
that
is
was
fun to
fun.
watch Rick Pitino fail.
I thought
Yeah,
you
'cause
I thought
they're-
you were gonna say the second half of the Michigan State Kansas game.
That was just a slow
That just showed.
spiral out of control.
Yeah, it was. That just showed Kansas truly was a better team, though. Kansas definitely
And
had
they just manhandled Purdue after that.
way. Yeah, Purdue was another team I think was overseeded a little bit, but they had way more talent than Michigan State. Granted, Michigan State is Miles Bridges and Nick Ward, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Cash.
I mean, Tom Izzo wanted a couple one and dones, and that's what he gets.
Yeah, I mean, he did go the one and done route. He's going even more next year. He's got 3 or 4 coming in next year.
Wait, Bridges is not declaring for the draft.
He's gonna go.
He's
gonna go. There's no reason for him not to. He's already a top 10, top 15 pick. He's gonna go. He's a lottery pick.
He could work on that free throw shooting a little bit.
He could. There's a few things he could work on his game. I hope I hope Nick Ward stays too. I think if you keep Nick Ward and somehow manage to keep Miles Bridges, plus you got the talent coming in next year, you have one hell of a basketball team going for Michigan State next year because even without those 2 guys, you still got a lot of talent coming in next year. You still got a force going for Michigan State. They've got 3 of the top 25 players in the country coming in.
Really?
Yes, I believe so. I believe that's what it is. But they got a lot of talent. I mean, true one and done's coming in for that team. So they got a lot of talent. It's whether or not Coach Izzo's willing to let the one and dones play their game and not bench them when they make a mistake, which a freshman's going to do. That's not what Izzo does. Izzo's a very, very strict coach.
He's old school.
He's very old school, and, well, it's worked for him. I mean, he's one of the most successful coaches ever. He's got to win that second title, in my opinion.
Yeah, he just has one right now. So
but at the same time, though, so is John Calipari. But Izzo's done it with lesser talent. He's done more than John Calipari with lesser talent. That's why, again, in the past we've said John Calipari, not really that great of a coach, in my opinion. He's got the best talent of any team in the country, and yet he still underachieves. Versus Izzo, who doesn't get the best talent in the country, and, in my opinion, overachieves with a lot of these teams. I mean, the year he won the national title, granted, they had a great team that year, but, I mean, we've seen him go to Final Fours with lesser teams and challenge for national championships with lesser teams.
And then they go up against the North Carolina team.
Exactly, and then they go up against a team like North Carolina.
Such a bad call by Benjels.
And then you see him run into a goddamn brick wall like North Carolina or someone, but that happens. Everybody has to go through it once in the tournament, so
yeah.
That's college basketball.
Put March Madness to bed for once.
Not just March Madness, we can put college basketball to bed. Yeah. Which means college football ain't that far away. We saw some spring games played over the weekend.
I didn't watch a single one of them.
Me neither. Who does? If you do, you probably
don't have a life.
I used to go to the spring games on the state.
Going to one is fine.
You're a student of the university. Of course, that's different. But if you're sitting at home with clearly nothing better to do with your life, which I promise you there is something better you can do with your life, a little bit more productive than watching a spring football game, rethink your priorities here. Yeah, honestly. So, moving on. But that's shutting the book on college basketball. Let's close it.
Put it away.
Put it away for the year.
Eat the key.
Put it away till next
Don't
March.
need it. We gotta go to next year. Yeah, there you go.
No, he can eat it. It'll just pass before that.
That's true.
You have to go digging for it, though, when it comes out.
College football's right around the corner. Obviously, we'll break into that when that comes around. But we'll move on for show purposes. We're not going to talk about college football tonight, obviously. But we'll move on. And what brings us into... I'll let you actually do the topic this time, since you brought it up to me.
D-Rose!
D-Rose.
Derrick Rose for all you plebs out there.
Yeah.
So, he tore his meniscus again.
Again. If you haven't noticed,
keeping
several
count?
again.
This is like
I think this straight up his 4th or 5th season-ending injury.
I legitimately lost count.
I think this honestly is the 4th or 5th season.
4 or 5.
It's gotta be. Yeah. How many times does a guy have to blow
out
a knee
every
before
season he
quit?
ends with blowing out his knee?
Yes, every single year.
Yeah. I feel bad for him too because he was amazing.
Oh, he was an MVP.
So
he was incredible.
So we have a couple questions waiting. This first question. By the way, I actually saw the best use of a crying Jordan face. It was Derrick Rose sitting with the basketball, and there was 2 crying Jordans on both knees.
Oh, that's awesome! That's awesome.
But first of all, is his career over?
No, he's got to make a comeback again.
Okay, if you were him, would you call it quits?
If I was him, hell yeah, I would have done it after my 2nd or 3rd. I'm sorry, but sports are not real.
If you were a GM,
if I gotta go my whole
Derrick
life
Rose
with
in a
knees that I
10-foot
can,
hole?
fuck no.
Is this
but
a
I'm
degenerative
not
disorder?
stupid.
Is this hereditary? Is it genetic? Is it degenerative?
Might be
Probably.
degenerative.
I mean,
I can't say that word.
at this point, I mean, statistics have shown once you blow out one knee, you're more likely to blow out the other. And once you blow out one knee, you're probably going to blow it out again.
It's
If you
getting
continue to do the
it's
same
getting
shit.
beyond the realm of likelihood to where he probably actually has a
An actual health problem with
degenerative
it.
knee disorder.
Okay,
Like-
and this is the
He's gonna make enough
This
money
is
to
the-
buy new knees. Okay?
Yes, this is the sports version of
He basically did though, and then like
a person who continues to do this, who continues to do the same thing, failing, never changing his ways, is an idiot.
Mhm.
That's Derrick Rose. He's continuing to play basketball
And
year
that's
after year.
actually the definition of psychotic.
Yes, yes, it is. Insanity. It is the definition of insanity.
Doing the same
Thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Yes, Derrick Rose, stop playing basketball. You were a great athlete years ago. You can't do it anymore. You're gonna keep blowing out your knees, and you're not gonna be able to walk in the future. He's gonna be in a wheelchair.
If he can keep making money, he's probably gonna keep making money.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. You
Yeah,
can't.
if you were a GM, would you touch him with a 10-foot
Hell
ball?
no! Hell no! Why? But again, I'm smarter than half the GMs in the league.
Remember we all laughed when the Knicks took Derrick
Yes!
Rose?
And you know what? I bet you half the country did too, because half the country's smarter than the average man.
We're talking about Phil
See what I
Jackson
did there?
here.
See what I did there? Half the country's smarter than the average man. See what I did there? Okay. No.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, I get it.
Statistically, half the country
Yes.
would be smarter than the average
Well,
man.
that's where you get averages from.
It's
Genius.
statistics.
Anyways,
It's just numbers.
But Phil Jackson, I mean, we talked about this last week, but Phil Jackson, way overrated.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
super overrated.
The only championships he's won are with Jordan and Pippen. Jordan and Pippen.
I want to meet this Borden guy.
Me too. Could you imagine crying Borden memes? Jordan and
Anthony
Pippen.
Borden?
And you can throw Rodman in there.
And Rodman, yes. And then Shaq and Kobe. So you're going to win championships
You
with those
mean
guys. Bobby.
Back in Bobby.
Or Shakobe.
Shikobi.
Anyway, so stemming from this though, we had a discussion earlier, and we want to bring this to the show. Who are some players that, looking back, you wish you could have seen play, like that their careers were cut short by injury? You wish you could have seen play out their careers, and you think probably would have had all-star careers, if not Hall of Fame careers.
I mean, in the NBA recently, Greg Oden.
Greg,
What you guys
That's
were saying.
definitely
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
That's-
Grant, not even recent, but Grant Hill's another one. I mean, he was a guy who had a lot of big-time ankle injuries.
a lot of good years though.
He did.
He did.
Greg
No doubt.
Oden didn't even get a chance.
You're right. He didn't even get a chance. One guy in hockey, I would say, is Constantino.
Yes, and that wasn't even like an injury.
That was
like
straight
a
up
horrific accident.
Yeah, a horrific car accident. But
Yeah.
he's a guy who really had a
It was cut short. Yeah.
career was cut short by injury. Well, not injury, but
watching him play though was like
watching that
special.
Russian 5 line play. Oh,
my
magic.
My guy was
That's
actually
one word to
recently.
describe it.
My guy was actually recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I think we could have been talking him as like one of the
All-time
top
greats.
10, top
Defenseman.
5, one of the all-time greats.
Yeah,
His teammate.
absolutely.
T-Mac, yes, I
If
completely agree with you.
he had had another 10 years, because that's basically how short his career was cut. If he'd had another 10 years,
How many years did he play?
well, he
Well,
still
he-
played into his mid-30s,
But it
But he
wasn't
was-
100%.
But he
was a shell of
not.
teammate.
Right. Okay.
Not
Another
too
one. Let's see if I can think of a baseball one.
Tracy McGrady for you guys who don't know.
Yeah.
Think of a baseball.
But
If you don't know who T-Mac is, then you probably aren't going to be watching the show.
But I mean,
At least I hope not.
the
Well,
thing
you know what? I
is-
hope you do, and I hope you learn something.
the things he used to be able to do when he was healthy were
Oh, the guy was
unbelievable.
unreal. I mean, he was a hell of a shooter. He wasn't a great defender, but he's a hell of a shooter, and he was
Hell of a
an
scorer in
electrifying
general.
dunker.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was fun to watch. I mean,
He
you
was
talk
the
about guys
next.
who
He was the next Vince Carter.
well,
in
they're
terms of
cousins.
they're
Duncan.
cousins. They probably played together growing up.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
I learned today.
I mean, he was the next Vince Carter, though. But in my opinion, better. He could have been better.
I
He was a
would
better
be so-
shooter than
I
Vince
mean,
Carter was.
they play in the same era, so it'd be like calling Russell Westbrook the next James Harden.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. But, I mean, but he would have been. I mean, he already was. But in my opinion, I think he would have jumped Vince Carter. I think he would have been.
he was getting, but when he was playing in his prime, he was getting the Jordan comparisons.
No doubt. I mean, he was one
And
of
then
those
the
types.
playoff streak losing.
Yeah.
started.
Yes.
He could never get out of the first round.
No,
Exactly.
he couldn't. No, he couldn't.
Did he
Even
ever,
when
when
he-
he was like barely playing, did he ever get
No,
out?
he
first
never
round?
got
I
out
don't
of
think
the
he ever
first
got out
round.
of the first round, unfortunately. God, who's won for baseball? Mark Fidrich, a great pitcher for the Tigers who had his career cut short. Holy shit.
Mark the
Shortcut
Bird
to his career.
Fidrich.
Mark the Bird Fidrich had his career definitely cut short as a pitcher in baseball. He was a guy
Joel
who was...
Zamaya.
I don't think he was ever going to be any good.
You don't think so?
You don't think so?
Guys who
fastball?
throw... Okay, but see, thing is...
You're
when
not durable.
You're talking to a baseball
He
pure...
made A-Rod look like a little schoolgirl.
Okay, a guy who... Pitchers who throw the ball 103 miles an hour do not last.
Mm-hmm.
They last a few years and they're done. You're about to see with Aroldis Chapman. Granted, he scaled his fastball back.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still probably about to see it with him, though. But guys will not... You cannot live and die off a 103 mile an hour fastball for a long career. He got 2, maybe 3 years before that.
And then he hurt himself playing Guitar Hero.
Yes, he did.
But
And then everything spiraled downhill. from there.
one that shoots a little closer to home is Jamin Best.
Yes,
Oh,
another
yes.
one, without a doubt. I mean, but thing is though, is
And
he
even
had
Calvin.
Calvin's a great example because he was a guy who probably could have. I mean, he retired at 31.
Yeah.
He's a guy who was the best talent in the league, and you really only got to see 2, maybe 3 truly great seasons from the guy because of constant injuries.
Great season.
I mean, there's entire
All-time
years
seasons.
where he didn't practice a single time because of his injuries. And
Man's hands
if
were
that
legit
doesn't-
mangled. His fingers
Yes,
were
his
pointing which
hands,
way.
he could probably hardly squeeze his hands now because he constantly got hit. That's a
and
great
also,
example.
That's
Matt
also-
Stafford
yeah.
didn't throw that ball lightly.
Throwing
No,
fastballs
he didn't.
from 3 yards away.
That's the guy who I swear to God throws a 107 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah, I mean, he has Clayton Kershaw to help with that.
Yes,
doesn't
he does. They were friends in high school and
In
college, I
middle
believe.
school, and they were friends.
They were
since they were
childhood
kids.
friends since
Yeah.
middle school. Yeah, and you know what's funny about that is they both played baseball together. Kershaw was the pitcher. Stafford was the catcher.
Question: if they switched sports, who would be better? Would Clayton Kershaw be a better quarterback than Matt Stafford as a pitcher?
No.
Oh, no. I'd say.
Well, no, and that's but not as pitcher because Stafford was a catcher for Kershaw.
Mhm.
So if Stafford were to go play baseball, he'd be a better catcher than Kershaw. Kershaw would be a quarterback.
Or he could play in the outfield, too.
He could.
Like, launch that ball.
Can you imagine the
He'd be on the warning track and he hits the catcher right in the glove.
catcher like flies back?
Exactly.
But man, there's so many players whose careers cut short by injury. I
Yeah.
mean, let me
Oh,
think
I have a
of
challenge
something
for you. I have a fun challenge for you guys.
else. Okay, what? Shoot.
Oh, actually, it'd be kind of tough. I was gonna say give me a starting 5 of players who were cut short by injuries. Give me the best starting 5.
Okay.
But that would limit it to basketball if we just
It
started
would,
5.
but let's see. Let's have a little fun with it. Okay. Center. Let's start at the 5.
Odin.
We could go Dwight Howard or Greg Oden.
Or Yao Ming.
Or Yao Ming. There's a great one. Yao Ming's another guy. Oh, Yao, definitely Yao. Okay, the 4.
Okay, I'll go, yeah.
The 4. You go Greg Oden here. I mean, he
He
could
did
play
not-
the
he
4.
never played
I
the
guess
4.
really not. The 4.
But with Yao Ming on the floor, just imagine.
Yeah. Oh God, Twin Towers. Holy shit. You got one really tall guy and
And
one
another really tall.
large tall guy. I mean, you're down. Your post game would be impenetrable. Your post game would be unbelievable.
Just like they just stand there like
Yeah.
like that.
Oh jeez. Well, small forward. I'm gonna go with Grant Hill. I mean, he's a guy.
We'll go with T-Mac
At the 2, yeah, he's a big 2, but he can play 2. At the 1,
He
I mean,
did-
you
he
gotta
played
look
a lot
at
of the
guys.
2.
At the 1, you gotta look at guys like Robert Peck or guys we didn't really see much of, but you knew had the talent. And
What was Stephon Marbury?
I never really thought Stephon was all that great. He had one good year, in my opinion.
Oh, I loved him.
He was fun to watch, but he never really was a superstar. In my
Derrick
opinion.
Rose. Okay, his
As a-
MVP season. Come on.
Okay, his MVP season was awesome, but what
He
else
was
did
a
he do?
monster.
What else did he do besides his MVP season?
He's been hurt so early in
I
his career.
understand, but at the same
I'd put
time,
Derrick
I don't
Rose
know
at
that.
the
But okay, fine, Derrick Rose, whatever. So let's pick a 4.
Oh shit.
Darko Milicic. No.
No, he just sucked.
He just sucked.
He wasn't that good. He couldn't keep up with the pace of the NBA.
Yeah.
He was good in Europe, but not.
4.
I don't know.
That one's tough. I can't even think of a 4 that got their career cut short.
I can think of fours who were good, but not for very long.
Well, it's
Like
gotta
once
be
they got
injury.
traded away from their team, they kind of stopped being good.
It's got to be injury.
Yeah.
Man, I can't think of any. Well, that.
How about Shaquille O'Neal on the Cavs?
Yeah, that was just old age.
I think I was just old as shit.
Oh man, shit. 4. You guys remember Royce White?
No,
No.
I don't even know who
He
that
was the guy that got drafted by the Rockets, but then they wouldn't let him. He quit because he had a fear of flying, and they wouldn't accommodate.
What?
But he was a first round pick by the Rockets, and he was really good in college. This is not too long ago. This was like 5 years ago.
Really? No, I do not remember that guy.
He had a fear of flying, but he wouldn't.
So they wouldn't accommodate. He wanted to take buses to every game.
John Livingston still plays.
I know, but he was a beast before they had that.
Jay Williams,
horrific
another guy
injury.
that you could argue
Yeah.
is one of those guys who definitely
Motorcycle
Michael
accident.
Redd,
Oh,
there's
Michael
a-
Redd's another Baron Davis.
I didn't know he had a major injury.
I didn't either. T-Mac, Grant Hill, and Yao. Okay,
Yeah.
so no 4s. Lo and behold.
Or the 25. That was top 10.
Well, the 4s, think about it this way. Like, they're like pretty much.
Ooh,
Jamal Mashburn's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. He didn't really play the 4 though, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Really?
the 4s are like good.
They're built well.
They're very yeah, exactly. They're built well. They're not too
definitely
big. They're
built
not too
well.
small.
Right.
So they
You
can.
guys remember George Marison?
Ralph Sampson.
Let's see. Jay
It's-
Williams injured.
Did no, I thought the same thing.
Oh, Bill Walton.
Bill Wall. He's a center though. I remember Allen. You remember Allen Houston?
Yeah,
that
I
guy
remember
was
Allen.
He's
sweet.
easy for the Pistons.
Yeah.
Brandon Roy's another big
Yeah,
one.
Brandon Roy was.
Forgot about
that
him.
guy was a star.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Trailblazer superstar.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
he
Yeah.
was, and then his career got cut short by
I
injuries.
remember watching him in college too.
Don't you see like more basketball players seem to get their careers cut short compared to other sports?
Yes and no. I think it happens the most in a sport like baseball, but you never really get to see the true potential of a player in baseball when it comes to it, because the career-ending injuries in baseball tend to be shoulders blowing out or something like that, where they happen so early in a career that you never really get to see the full potential of the player.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's guys that it probably happens more in baseball, but I think
Bigger
not to
names
mention,
happen in
not to
basketball.
mention, it doesn't hurt basketball in this argument, the fact that their draft is way bigger than baseball's. And baseball has like 6 drafts and nobody pays attention to any of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could argue football's one that the average football career is 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So, that's another one that careers get cut short by injury a lot. So, but again,
Well, with football, you can go more careers cut short by off-field issues.
yeah, I think football definitely wins
Oh,
that.
and the younger players taking the spots.
Who was
Yes.
that guy? Who was that receiver for last? I can't remember his name anymore.
From who?
For the Lions.
Did you hear that the
From
Lions-
Boise State.
Charles Rodgers?
No, from Boise State.
Mike Williams?
From Boise State. Caught the Hail Mary against the Titans like 4 years ago.
Titus Young.
Yes,
There you go,
Titus
Titus
Young.
Young.
Oh, God. You
By
wanna
the
talk
way,
receivers?
Pistons blew a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter and lose to the Raptors.
Oh, yay! Get that draft pick! Woo! Get that draft pick!
Stones.
Lottery.
Yes.
Lottery.
Oh, we're in
Push
lottery.
yourself.
We just
Yeah.
want a top 10 pick. Top 10 pick.
Top 10 pick. Push yourself into that lottery draft, boys. Push it on through. But, no.
Did
Titus...
not think this season was going to go the way.
Well, I called they weren't going to be any better than they were last year. I
Yeah,
did not
but
think they would tank.
Yeah.
I said this team did not get any better in the offseason, in my opinion. They did not get any better in the offseason. They didn't really upgrade pretty much anywhere outside of a slight upgrade at point guard. But anywhere else, I don't think they really got any better. And then you saw players who were your mainstays last year kind of tanked. They played
That
like
was the
shit.
big thing.
That was the big thing. But I knew this
I
team
think
was...
if this team is
I thought this team
if
was...
this team as made up
Today, Junior.
if this team was made up the same way it was last year, the same roster, and Andre Drummond and Ray Jackson played as bad as they did this year, they'd have been like a 25-win team.
Oh, absolutely. That team would have been... They had no bench last year
Yeah.
whatsoever. That team would have been garbage. Granted, this team is garbage.
The
but
play
besides the point.
the play of Pope, Morris, and Harris is really what carried us, and Moore for a very long stretch. And
Yes,
Ish.
agreed.
And Ish.
And Ish has been solid. I still think
He's
he's
picked
way
up the-
over. I still think he's way overmatched by starting point guards in the league. He's definitely a bench point guard.
Defensively, but he's great at running an offense.
I don't even
He
think
can
he's,
distribute the ball
I think
with the
even
best one.
offensively he gets overmatched by other point guards.
Offensively, I'm saying running an offense.
Okay, running an offense, sure, but I could run an offense. All right.
But
Look at short ass little me running an offense. How about that?
I'd be your center.
Hell yeah.
but moving on to it's a multi-sport topic, franchises.
Well, this has all been multi-sport topics.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So obviously,
Another
everyone-
multi-sport topic.
Yes, obviously, everyone we've seen the Raiders move to Las Vegas. We watched San Diego move to LA. We got the LA Chargers.
You saw St. Louis move to LA.
And St. Louis Rams moved to LA
That
also.
makes no sense to me at all.
LA
getting two teams.
Okay.
When they've had
LA
one-
should not have two teams. However, there are two teams I would say that deserve to be in LA and should be in LA. The Rams and the Raiders. The Chargers had no goddamn business being there. Now they have two trash-ass teams in LA. That's not how you keep a franchise in a city, by the way. You don't bring a trash-ass team in. Granted, that's the only way you get a team there. But one of those teams is leaving in the next 15, 20 years.
I still think the Chargers are more suitable for LA than the Rams.
The Rams are from LA.
I know they are.
So the Chargers, we're fine in San Diego. There's no reason why they have left San Diego. St. Louis is not a big enough market.
As the team is built right now, that is not a very
the Rams not a flashy team.
The Rams franchise was doing okay for itself, though.
Yes,
it was.
it was.
Still
It was
money.
the problem with the stadium deal. And granted, they have a bigger fan base in St. Louis than they do in LA. Straight up by the statistics, more people watch the game in St. Louis than LA. But there's one team in particular that if I only could pick one team in the league to go to LA, it is not either one of those two teams that are there now. It's the Raiders. That is an LA team.
Yeah,
that is an
I
LA
agree.
franchise.
The Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. That is an LA-based team that's where they should be. Now they're in Vegas. They're in a lost city, but it's not the right one. So
Dude, those games are going to be 130 degrees in the beginning of the year.
God, could you imagine
Are you?
winning that?
Oh
Seriously,
my.
that's gotta. That's.
They better have a dome.
They don't. It's. I think they propose an outdoor stadium, so people are literally.
Obviously,
gonna die.
At least in the fall, not
No,
in
they
the
need
summer.
night games then. That's as simple as that.
At least
Yeah,
in the
it's gotta
fall,
be.
not in the heat of summer, though.
But, anyways,
But the first couple
obviously,
weeks,
obviously, I mean, we saw it with Jerry World, the Cowboy Stadium. We saw
Jerry's
it with
World.
just about every stadium that goes up now for any sport. When a franchise gets a new stadium, whether they're moving into the city, an expansion team, just like the Las Vegas hockey team that's coming.
The Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights, which is the weirdest name for a professional sports team, by the way.
Their logo looks okay, though.
Their logo does look okay.
It reminds me of like Mike,
Yeah,
the LA Knights.
yeah. They're Las Vegas.
I know, but I'm seeing the.
Yeah, yeah.
The LV is actually built into the logo. If
Yeah.
you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, we've seen it. We're seeing it right now here in Detroit with Little Caesars Arena going up. So
Which is a
obviously-
horrible name, by the way.
Yes, it's a horrible name.
They should name it the Little Caesars Coliseum.
Yes.
What, you guys don't like Little Caesars pizza?
No, I think you can keep the Little Caesars name, but you got to do something better than Arena. It's boring.
When people want to name it the Gordie Howe Arena.
Yes, but then the basketball team came in. Hey, what's going on, Obama? Was it Romo retired? We
Romo's
know. Hey, but don't worry though. If Dak Prescott goes down, one phone call, Romo's back in front. Jerry Jones is a mastermind. He's got something up his sleeve with this one. He is not letting any other team touch Romo but him.
Obama
He put him on CBS for a reason.
An opposing AFC GM said there's a 100% chance Romo returns.
Oh, in my opinion, I think he does too. There's no there.
But Romo also
no
said there's a 99% chance he doesn't return.
Which means you're telling me there's a chance.
Mhm.
Yes, there's absolutely a good chance. There's no reason that Romo retires here. There's obviously Jerry Jones he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing here. He's got Romo on the pocketbook. He's still got him there.
Mhm.
If Dak goes down, you're not going to have Kellen Moore be your starting quarterback. I promise you that. It's going to be Tony Romo. So don't worry about that. He'll be back. But anyways, obviously the common theme with all these franchises moving into cities and all these stadiums going up is tax-funded stadiums.
Mhm.
Tax revenue funded stadiums. And my Rangers are bad again this year too. Of course they are. I told you that to begin with. I told you that to begin with. The Rangers are not a good ball club.
Hey, our Tigers are undefeated.
Yes, they are 1-0. Woo!
One down, 161 to go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Ian
Great
Kinsler
start.
is on pace for 162 home runs.
So was Jacoby
Hey.
Jones.
Yes!
So was Nick Castellanos.
And Castellanos,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Home run crown, baby.
Absolutely.
But so we're debating tonight whether or not franchises moving into cities is actually good or bad for the cities. Obviously, there's multiple ways to argue this. I mean, you could say that, okay, stadium, look at Detroit right now, for example. Stadium going up, they got a whole district surrounding it. You got condos going up, shop fronts, all sorts of stuff. Brings people downtown, which...
Making that money.
Yes, which brings
They want a hockey village down
Yes, it brings business to the area. Okay,
Exactly.
that's one thing. Problem is, where's all that money going?
there.
Into the pocket of Dan Gilbert and Tom Gores. That's where it's going. Or not Dan Gilbert. Tom Gores and
The Illiches.
the Illiches. Granted, the restaurants, that's different, that are going to have the revenue, that's different. But most of that money's going into their pockets. And, oh, by the way,
Well,
they're
so
not
even-
even paying for half that stadium.
So
the
portions
city
of
is.
those revenues are going to pockets via tax revenue.
Yes, it
Stadium.
is. I guarantee they really don't pay that much in taxes because of the amount that they donate.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying them. I'm saying the restaurants will pay tax revenue, which in turn will go to the stadiums.
Yes, which
We'll pay,
lot of
we'll pay
liquor-
taxes that
liquor
will
taxes.
turn to tax revenue that will.
yes.
turn
So
to the stadiums.
basically, it's just the cities paying off a debt at
Yeah.
this point, and they're not even paying for half the stadiums. The cities are paying for more than half these stadiums.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, does a franchise coming to a city make the schools better? No, absolutely not. Does it make the neighborhoods better? No, absolutely not. The only thing it makes better is the immediate surrounding area of the stadium that goes up. And maybe a little bit beyond that because you still have people coming into the city for, say, in the hotels, whatever.
Yeah.
You just see a business boom. You don't see a boom when it comes to the overall market of the city. You don't see a housing boom.
Yeah.
You don't see schools getting more funding or anything like that.
And Detroit schools are in a wreck right now.
Absolutely. Oh my God, they're
One of the
horrible.
worst in the country for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, with that being said, look at the accounting books for these stadiums that have gone up. They never ever even out for the amount of money that these cities pay for them. So a stadium for a city is literally throwing away money. They never recoup that debt. You pay it off for 20 years and you never ever make that money back. You don't get the tax revenue you don't get enough tax revenue for the stadium because the tax revenue you get goes paying off the city and then you gotta pitch more in. Or paying off the stadium and then you gotta pitch more in. So no, in my opinion, these franchises don't help the cities. On a morale standpoint, absolutely. Look at Detroit. Everybody rallies like crazy around their sports teams. Everybody in the city goes nuts for Tigers. I mean, Detroit throws, in my opinion, the best opening day party of any city. And that's totally biased and totally a homer thing to say. But without a doubt, the
Like, have you
best...
ever been to a
'cause
different opening day party?
there ain't no party
It's a
like
holiday here in Detroit.
there ain't no party like a Detroit party. Thank you, Kid Rock, for that quote.
Because
But
Detroit party ain't stopped.
exactly, there ain't no party like a Detroit party, and that's seriously a true
Talking
fact.
about a white trash party.
Opening day in Detroit is literally a holiday. Their people take off work and go downtown. It brings so much downtown. They block off entire streets around the stadium so
Yeah.
that people can drink beer, eat food, hang out, talk, laugh, talk baseball, talk Tigers. There's so many vendors and stuff around for this huge party. So yeah, on a morale standpoint, without a doubt, these franchises are awesome for the city. But when it comes down to the dollar signs, there's no way in hell these franchises are any good. Sure, they help a local restaurant, or they help a chain restaurant in the area, or they help the hotels when people come in from out of town. But when it comes to the actual revenue for the city, hell no! There's no way, because these cities are spending $500, $600, $700 million in Dallas's case, in Arlington's case, I should say, to pay off these stadiums. I'm sorry, but I really don't see tax revenue coming from people just being downtown and hanging out, meeting that. Plus, you got to have the upkeep that the city's got to pay for this.
Well, I don't know what he wants to debate because he basically hit every single point.
Well, I mean, just play devil's advocate with me. Argue that they're good for the city. Tell me that there's something good about these franchises in the cities outside of the morale standpoint. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people who just loves to go downtown and be at the stadium or be around the stadium on game day. It is so much fun. It's a different atmosphere from the average day. People are lively. People are hyped up, ready to go. Ready to punch someone in the face, but not literally. Some cases, literally, if you're a Raiders fan. But with that being said,
Yeah, it helps. It's great for the immediate surrounding area of the stadium. It's great for the
Without
local
a doubt.
businesses
Provides
around there.
a couple hundred jobs.
which it also doesn't help that when you build a stadium, you probably are redesigning the entire media area to your liking and to your benefit. Anyways, a la Tom Gores and Mike Ilitch, but that's a different...
Well, to be
Not
fair,
Mike
though,
Ilitch
Detroit
longer,
needs
but the Ilitch
some
family.
hardcore renovation.
Oh, no doubt.
The whole city.
No, okay, Detroit's a bad example for that because Detroit as a whole needs renovation, but it's not just that. Downtown's going to be beautiful. Downtown is already a lot of fun to go to down there.
Yeah, it's definitely like around Greektown and
Oh,
Midtown.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Downtown's and Corktown even. Downtown's a hell of a lot of fun to go to. But with that being said, I ain't touching the neighborhoods. I ain't touching 2 square miles outside of downtown. There ain't no way in hell I wouldn't be caught dead, or I would be dead.
Oh, you'd be dead.
But
cops will actually pull you over in Detroit for stopping at a red light.
Yes, I've actually been yelled at by a cop not to stop at a red light by my work down there. So he's like, "Don't you ever stop at this light." Okay. But anyways, with that being said, though, a lot of these one of the most garbage bits and one of the oldest bits I hear from these owners that when they bring a team or a stadium into a city or bring a team back to a city, when obviously coming next year when the Pistons come back to downtown Detroit from Auburn Hills, one common theme with all of these owners is them saying, we're going to help build the city, we're going to help rebuild this, blah, blah, rebuild that, blah, whatever. We're going to bring life back into the city. Okay.
They do that by donating some of your ticket revenue.
Exactly.
But
Put your money where your mouth is. I want to see Tom Gores donate 5% of his profits, not even just revenue, profits to DPS. Put your money where your mouth is. If you want to be a true supporter of a city, donate a portion of your profits. I'm not even asking for revenue. Profits to something meaningful that will build the city.
It would be revenue.
Even infrastructure.
I know. But not necessarily because revenue, you have expenses after that. I'm talking straight after expenses, your profit.
Well, donations are expenses, right? Or we're getting
that's getting into nitpicky at this point. But I'm talking take off after all your business expenses, taking what's left, the profit that you get, and donating 5% of that to the public school system in your area, to the environmental protection services in your area, the city beautification teams, something that actually is a infrastructure based element to your city, not just something that's going to line your pockets. And that's what we're seeing these owners do. Jerry Jones is making bank off this stadium that he's not even paying for. Yeah. And it's just the same about every owner.
Some of them actually do, believe it or not.
Yeah. Not some. If it's within a 5 or a 15-mile radius of downtown Detroit, yes, they all have bulletproof glass. All of them.
A lot of White Castle does.
White Castle, Popeyes, Subway, McDonald's.
Every gas station does.
Yes, every single fast food joint. If it's in a Detroit area code or somewhere even close along that border,
I would say just pretty much Detroit, the
actual city.
Even Redford has some.
Redford, okay.
There's surrounding areas of Detroit that have bulletproof glass. It's obviously a high crime area, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that the city doesn't have any money.
But
the business owners have money in the city. They got some to spare.
I have an uncle who owns a pharmacy about 5 miles out of Detroit, out of downtown Detroit. Not only does he have bulletproof glass, he has a metal little thing that he pulls out of the front. Metal shade.
They
he
all
pulls
have
out of
those
the front of the shop
to lock the shop up at the end of the day. These not just that, but
he's been robbed 3 times.
I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a beautification thing that these people are doing, or if it's literally for security. But have you ever noticed the doors in the houses of Detroit? Have you ever looked around the neighborhoods around the surrounding area of downtowns of Detroit? All the doors have bars on them. They're metal bar doors. It's not something that you can break a glass window through and walk on through. They are metal bars. You're not breaking through them. So, the security, obviously people are paranoid to get robbed or worse down there. It's a very dangerous city to live in. There's no doubt. But downtown, don't get me wrong, I have family that lives downtown. They love it. It's wonderful. They've never had a problem. But living in the surrounding areas is kind of scary. The neighborhoods around there, and that's something that needs to be rebuilt. It's something that you need to put money into if you want to make the city beautiful, if you want to get people to want to be there. Make the city beautiful. Donate some of this money that you're bringing in, because you're bringing in a shit ton. Invest in the schools, definitely, because that's how you build a future.
Because families don't want to go there, because they're like, I can't raise a family here.
Oh, hell no, you can't raise a family in the city of Detroit. There's tons of young people moving downtown, but there's no way in hell they're going to stay to raise a family.
Oh, no.
They're not sending their kids to a Detroit public school. No. And that rings true. Look at Southside Chicago. It's even worse. It's literally an area that the city, which is booming, has forgotten about.
Now, what about after that payoff period is over?
Also, someone dies every day in Detroit too, or is that Chicago? Pretty sure that's Chicago.
Probably
both. Probably both.
I'm pretty sure every city someone dies.
I remember there was a news segment that came out. I can't remember. It was either last year or the year before, where they had a day where not a single murder was committed, and it was
Chicago.
No, it was Detroit. It was a local news station. Yes, it was Channel 4. And they made a huge deal about it, how there was no violent crime report in the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the first time in God knows how long. Granted, Detroit has gotten a lot better since that time period, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. Southside Chicago's a lot worse than Detroit. They're a lot worse off than we are. So,
but anyway, what about after that payoff period is done though? Then you
got a 25-year-old saying that you got to pay maintenance upkeep on.
Okay, but that's not taking up as many tax dollars.
Yeah, it is.
Not
A 25-year-old stadium. Do you know how much what it costs to have that the cities dole out for maintenance upkeep? That's why San Diego left. That's why the Chargers left San Diego. That's why the Rams left St. Louis. That's why Oakland is leaving. That's why the Raiders are leaving.
Oakland needed a new stadium altogether. Though.
Yeah, Coliseum is the worst stadium in all of sports. But at the same time, the upkeep that you spend on these stadiums, the money that goes into the upkeep of these older stadiums, does not outweigh the revenue that they get from it. It doesn't even out. They spend too much money.
Money. It's a literal money pit.
I mean, I believe it was the Chargers that were losing like $600,000 a year on their stadium.
Yeah.
Based off the upkeep, they were not making money. They were literally losing money having that team in that city, in that stadium. Newer stadiums are cheaper to upkeep, but at the same time, you're still paying off tax revenue. In my opinion, there's no reason that Dan Gilbert or Tom Gores or the Oish family or whoever else is building a stadium couldn't pay for at least 80% of these stadiums themselves. They got money, and I guarantee you they will make the money back because they get the direct profits. Can you hear me? No, we can't hear you.
We can read you.
We can read you, though. I read you loud and clear. But there's no reason why these owners can't pay for these stadiums. They've got the money. They could literally write a check. However, they're not going to because that's not going to line their pockets enough. It'll take them longer to make their money back. So it's...
So what's the alternative?
There isn't one. If you want a sports franchise, you're going to have to bite the bullet. If you want to have the morale that comes with a sports franchise and the booming business surrounding the area, you got to bite the bullet on it.
Now let's...
Or the alternative is force these owners to pay for their own damn stadiums, or at least most of the money for these damn stadiums. That's the alternative. That's the way to do it. Or force these owners to donate some of the revenue back to the cities. Donate some of the revenue. Hey, thanks for following Soxy HD. Hope you like the show. But
hope you're a big supporter.
Donate some of your revenue to the schools, to the areas, to the neighborhoods. Breathe some real life into this city.
All right, question. Let's close out with this. Let's do a pseudo case study here.
Okay.
What would let's say like Detroit look like if there were no stadiums?
Boring. There'd be nothing there. You'd literally have basically farmland and factories.
So would it be worse off? Or
yes, absolutely. Oh god,
yeah,
absolutely.
because for the last
So if it would be worse off without the stadium?
No thanks. Yep, thanks for that band right there.
So for Detroit, for the last 20-something years.
But with that being said,
wow.
With that being said,
I'm fucking dead.
The reason,
Oh
you can argue that, and this is true. You can argue that, yes, stadiums help cities in that right. That it does
just versus the alternative.
It does bring people down there. I think having no stadiums is worse than having multiple stadiums. Yes, but revenue-wise and dollar sign-wise, how much? What is the benefit there? Because there's a lot of cities that don't have any sports that are making money.
Yeah.
So are they boring as hell to go to? Fuck yeah. However, they're still making money. Unlike...
I'm bitching too.
Thanks
for that.
Thanks, Obama Lizard. But
thank you.
Obama Lizard's our biggest fan. He is awesome. He's been here since day one. Every single one of our shows, he's awesome. We love him. But... okay, yes, those cities are probably still making money because they don't have that expense. They're boring as hell to go to, though. Nobody goes to those cities. People go to Vegas, though. They have other attractions.
Yeah.
So, but if you don't have sports teams, you won't find me being there.
Casinos cost some money, too.
Yeah, they do.
For Detroit, the last 20 years, what was the only other reason to go to Detroit was for the sport? Was because of sports games.
Exactly. Yes, the only reason to go to Detroit in the last 20 years, outside of recently.
Yeah, you could say a stadium is bad for the city, but versus the alternative, I'll take the stadium.
I will too, but that's coming from a
Depending
sports
on
fan
what city it
perspective.
is.
That's coming from a sports fan's perspective. So if you're not a sports fan, you may say otherwise. If you're purely a businessman, you may say otherwise because your city's making money without these sports teams. Why would I want to lower our profits or city profits to have just more people there? So yes, again, from a morale standpoint and from people being in the city standpoint, yes, a stadium is good for it. And a franchise is good for the city. But at the same time, look at Auburn Hills and Pontiac. What the hell happened when their teams were there? Nothing. Nothing is going on in those cities. Nobody wants to go to Auburn Hills and hang out. You go for the game, you leave. Pontiac, same deal. You go for the game and leave. Granted, Pontiac has a bunch of bars, but that's a different story. They're not there because
It's a good
of
haunted
the
house
stadium.
place during Halloween.
Yes, it is.
So that's it.
That's it.
That's
but
how
that's
I
not
know.
there because of the stadium, though.
Anyway.
So you could argue both sides, but I definitely don't think these franchises are actually money-wise, from an actual dollar sign standard, good for the city. From a morale standpoint, there's really nothing better than a sports franchise. So
Let's move on to some
move on
movies.
from movie time. All
Let's move on
right.
to some movies. Enough sports for
Here we
right?
go.
So, over the past few days, we've had quite the wave of news hit of different movie stars leaving their respective franchises.
Sad, really. It's so
Actually, over
sad.
the past month or so, there's been a lot of talk of Ben Affleck actually being done with Batman altogether and done with DC altogether.
That there's multiple theories about that. Could be
Yeah.
because of his alcoholism that's recently come out. I
There-
hope he gets better with that.
There's
She's out of rehab now.
There's it also started out with the Marvel side started out with why can't I think
Chris
of his name?
Evans.
Chris Evans talking about how he might be doing
Be done
two
with.
or three more movies and be done. with
I mean,
that
but
thing.
think
done with
about it this
Marvel.
way,
And
though.
Maggie's-
In the comics, Steve Rogers does die.
And
Yes.
Bucky Barnes does take over the mantle. of Captain
Yeah,
America.
so
Yes.
maybe they're leading into that.
That could happen. In
But then he
maybe that's
also-
a little
It's probably going to
teasy.
happen in Infinity War, probably.
It could.
They're saying, like,
I thought it was gonna happen in
a
Civil War,
lot
to
of
be
people are
honest with you.
dying in the Infinity War.
But
I think people like Chris Evans too much for them to have him
Yeah.
gone by Civil War, but I could see it in Infinity War happening. That is a good.
But then he also came out and said that Robert Downey Jr. is a lot closer to leaving Marvel than he is. And
I think with
a
Robert
lot of
Downey
that
Jr.
is just the
being Batman will drive you to being drunk. That's real, Bruce. Probably.
I mean,
I
he
can
has-
imagine being Batman. Just being Batman as a character would probably drive you to drive you to drink.
Well,
No
Batman
doubt.
has such intense willpower, he cares not for drinks.
The guy. Okay, Bruce Wayne lives a sad life.
It's
His
really-
parents. He has no parents. His only true friend is Alfred.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, all the models that
I mean,
Yeah, okay,
Robin,
that's not a true friend though. That's someone you bang for a night and you never talk to her again.
about Dick Grayson or Jason Todd.
Oh, Jason Todd. Oh, just such a sad story with him.
Yeah.
Dick.
He gets all the ladies.
He does get all the ladies. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, the guy has no true friends. I don't know what I'd be without my
He's
boys.
got
But he does got money. But what fun is money if you got nobody to share it
But
with?
anyway,
Nobody to take out to bars.
Anyway,
Nobody to go
let
to
me finish
parties.
it.
Nobody to
Let
ride
me
your
finish
bus with.
introducing
Wait,
this
wait, wait.
topic.
Batman does share his money. With justice.
I'm trying to crystal meth while I was Batman.
Let's get the criminal!
Could you imagine Batman on PCP?
Oh my god!
Anyway, so let me finish introducing this topic, by the way. And then, and they both stated also, Hugh Jackman also stated this, that the workout regimen to keep up with being a superhero is very intense, and as you get older, it becomes
I
less
agree with
and
you.
less.
I agree with you, Omega Fresh. Definitely the guy deserves a drink after his bomb
Jack and
movie.
Coke.
It becomes
After the bomb movie of Batman and Robin, or not Batman, well that one, but Batman and Superman. So
they've all said that with the workout regimen, it gets more problematic as you get older, trying to keep up with the workout regimen of being a superhero movie star. But the other franchise is losing a lot of key stars is the Expendables.
that one doesn't surprise me. I think they're all getting a little too old for a movie like that.
It's not for the reasons you may think though, because what happened was Sloan admitted they made a mistake by making Expendables 3 a PG-13 movie, not R.
Well, that movie
And
should be R.
He wanted to go back to making the R-rated Expendables movies
They
for
probably
Expendables
won't.
4, and the studio did not want to do it.
Well, that's
Yeah,
stupid.
because, like,
And-
didn't Chuck Norris wasn't going to be in it if it was going to be rated R?
I'm not sure. But that would not surprise me.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
He's
but
a very PG-13 guy.
yes, he is. But still, though, I think you gotta have an R-rated Expendables. Those guys are R-rated.
And then basically the only reason Schwarzenegger was doing it was because of Stallone. So
He's even
suit.
straight up come out and said that I will not do another Expendable movies if Stallone doesn't do it. I mean,
So they're both
he and
out.
Sly are like.
So is this?
Mono.
Let's start with
Like,
this one
they're
then.
1-0.
Is this the end of the Expendables franchise?
It should be.
Well, look
It really okay. First off, these movies aren't very good.
I love 1 and 2.
Okay,
they're
they're the definition of entertaining.
Yeah. They're not like well-made movies.
That's about it, though. These
Yeah.
movies are not good movies.
And they're supposed to
don't
like
go
bring
with
you
the story,
nostalgia
yeah.
from like the 80s.
Yeah.
But yes, they're definitely supposed to bring you nostalgia. But if I wanted 80s nostalgia, I'd watch an 80s movie. So, but I think it should be the end. I think 3 is enough. I think they're slowing down. Which, granted, you can make them look like they're not in a movie, but at the same time, you can tell when something's animated and CGI'd. But still, I mean, X-Men is trash and needs to merge with Avengers, but can't due to copyright issues.
Yeah.
Well, that last X-Men movie Apocalypse was pretty bad. I liked First Class and Days of Future Past, though.
I'm hearing
X-Men is a
Logan.
franchise. Okay,
Logan was amazing.
Logan, I've heard, was amazing, but X-Men is a franchise that's really kind of just tough to be successful because they don't really. Their comics weren't really that huge. Their comics were never as huge as DC and Marvel to begin with. With the the regular Spider-Man, Superman, Batman comics and all those.
I really didn't think X-Men became popular until the 90s cartoon.
It really didn't. X-Men really wasn't popular until
the comics were very popular.
the comics were pretty popular.
Well,
They
to
were
be fair though,
they
Sam
were
Lake has come out and said
overshadowed.
the X-Men has been the laziest creations he's ever
Yes,
come up
it's
with.
gotta be because they're not exciting. There's nothing you really can
Logan was
attach
sick.
to. Well, yeah, but there's nothing really you can attach to when it comes to X-Men. There's nothing like they're not relatable. They're not entertaining. I mean, okay, Logan is a different movie.
Logan
That was a great movie.
No, I'm saying the character himself.
Okay, but that was a great movie.
But he's in all the X-Men movies. I'm saying.
Yes, but
All the Fantastic Four movies were perfection.
Oh my god!
What are you smoking?
Are
you kidding me?
He's trolling you guys.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure the last Perfection
He's
Four,
trolling you guys.
or the last Fantastic Four movie, literally made it was what, a $200 million budget, made like $60 million.
Yeah, that was
a bomb.
The city is
movie.
playing
That was
DC right now.
horrible.
That was director studio differences.
Yes, that movie was horrible. Oh
Except
my
the
God.
last one.
The first one wasn't even any good. I mean,
It was okay. The first one was okay.
Crack. Okay.
And then Silver
thanks for
Surfer
the
was
follow,
just
Adam
Adam
Irby.
Irby.
Hope you like the show. But no, Fantastic Four was garbage. Stallone's got like 12 more. I love Expendables. Thanks for the follow, Wrath of Cain.
Thank you, sir.
But Stallone, yes, okay, he's got 12 more movies in him, but I don't see. I think Stallone's a smart enough guy to see when a movie franchise is going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's looking at here.
Exactly.
Because Expendables is not.
And
going
it's
the right
not. It's
way.
not like he had.
Yes.
Oh, dude! In the
Of
first
course.
movie,
That's
Jessica
what
Alba.
that one made it watchable.
Jessica Alba in the first Fantastic Four literally.
Melted the screen.
Yes, she made that movie is what made me fall in love with
She
her.
got naked,
She did.
but she was invisible when she was.
Yeah,
naked.
it
But
sucks.
imagination.
you can
Well,
imagine.
she came back in a bra, and it's like you got to piece it together.
Yeah, exactly.
But, what was I going to say? Well, it's not like Sylvester Stallone is in need of the Expendables franchise like he was when he started, because
Sylvester Stallone.
when he started, he was becoming irrelevant, and it helped him get back to relevancy. But
Yes.
now he was just
Omega
not
Fresh,
Omega
Thank you.
Fresh, thanks man.
Thank you,
Thanks
Omega Fresh, for the follow, sir.
Oh, good night tonight.
Yeah, but
Alright.
he just got nominated for Best Supporting Actor a couple years ago for Creed.
Yes.
So he's back on the map. He can afford to walk away from that franchise.
There's no reason Stallone shouldn't be on the map. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like cliche and kind of in a special.
Expendables was made for actors.
It was
Because the studio has indicated the franchise will go on without them. Can you imagine it being a franchise for a rotating door, just old ass people,
my
like
God.
old ass
That'd be
actors?
honestly hilarious. Expendables 57. Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber's like a 55-year-old dude, like with like a cigar in his mouth, just like taking out enemies.
Let's just grab that TP with his powers too.
Oh man, but X-Men is a franchise that really just isn't built for success from the building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not something that is really entertaining to watch.
Except
Yes, it is.
Deadpool.
Deadpool is a different story. Deadpool's fucking awesome, and they've done Deadpool.
He's also not technically part of the X-Men.
No, he's not. Deadpool is one that was Mastermind almost. I mean, the creators of Deadpool, and I think if they change anything about Deadpool the way it is now, then you're making a huge mistake because Deadpool's awesome.
They're saying the new movie will be a little more action with a la John Wick. They are bringing in the John Wick director to direct this second.
Okay, is it still going to be fucking hilarious?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, then I'm good. It's got to be
Ryan Reynolds
hilarious.
is still hoping
It's going to be all the killing of John Wick with the comedy of Ryan Reynolds.
Good.
And honestly, that was my
Ryan Reynolds is hilarious.
Yeah, he's
if I
the
could
perfect
pinpoint
Deadpool.
Absolutely. I literally cannot imagine a better Deadpool than Ryan Reynolds.
If I could pinpoint one complaint from Deadpool, is that I actually did want a little more action.
I agree with you, but again, though, I think it was a good character building movie.
Oh, yeah.
If they
It was
knew from the
unfortunate that it
beginning,
was turned into a love story. Well, I mean, they kind of marketed during Valentine's Day. They kind
yeah,
of tricked the
it
couples
was.
into going to see it.
Remember, they
Like
did,
the
it was
romantic-
a love story.
like the poster.
romantic posters that came out like, hey, want to go see this rom com? Like, oh
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is in it. It's called Deadpool.
Exactly.
Okay.
The trailer made me horny. It made me horny too. About
The It trailer. Oh, I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched about that movie. Oh,
And
At
yes,
least we got to see
Deadpool was a
Ryan
big
Reynolds'
dick movie.
Pangus.
Pangus.
absolutely. But
Tiny hand. Tiny hand.
But if the directors knew going into, or the writers knew going into the Deadpool franchise there was going to be a second movie, which I think they did. Most of these franchises do. They knew that in the first movie they were able to just build the character.
Yeah.
Which if you didn't, you
And
miss out on a lot of Deadpool.
That's
if you
one of
don't
the
build
best
character.
ways to build a character is get him in a relationship.
Exactly. Yes, because you figure out his weaknesses, his strengths, and everything like that.
Yes, I did.
But Deadpool, you can't change Deadpool. You can add more action. There's no doubt. I think bringing the John Wick director, is a good idea as long as you let Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds. You can't change Ryan Reynolds.
It's not gonna
Ryan
change.
Reynolds has to, and I think
No, they just got the director just for the choreography.
Yeah,
All that
it's
stuff.
for the
They
action.
didn't
Make
get-
it flow.
They didn't get the
Yeah.
X-Men Origins director. Don't worry.
Okay. Yes, that
But,
was garbage. But
Deadpool can't talk and he shoots Cyclops laser beams.
What the fuck? Come on! Are you kidding me? Fox!
You're
What are
going
you
to-
doing?
You can bring in more action to Deadpool. It's got room. It's got a
Yeah.
lot of room for it.
Yeah.
'Cause now you don't have to have the character
Yeah, you don't
building
need
scenes.
the yeah.
So that leaves room for more action, which means
Only
more
character building would be for
great
Deadpool.
lines of Deadpool fighting.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds being just absolutely goddamn hilarious.
But speaking of great, did you guys see the fan-made Deadpool musical?
What do you guys think about Akira and its direction? Ooh.
So
I'm not entirely familiar. You
I
probably
don't know
is,
jack shit about Akira,
though. Okay.
but I
Are we talking the anime Akira?
yeah, they're making a live
Yeah,
action.
they're making a live
Oh,
action
they're
Akira.
making a live action. Okay.
But
I
I
did
forgot
not know
what.
What's
They
okay? Hold on.
just
I have a serious
announced
question here.
They just announced a director for that.
I have a serious question right
Hold on.
now. Why are so many movies being remade as live actions? Animated
Because
movies you grew up with-
Hollywood is running out of ideas. That's why.
Then listen to our show. We've got some great movie ideas. We pitched so many great movies ideas. I mean, I've got the R-rated Toy Story. That's literally one of the most vulgar things I've ever heard of.
Yeah, that's what it was. They were
Oh my God.
they're actually chasing Jordan Peele for this movie, and I mean Jordan Peele is a big he's a big comic book fan. I'm not sure if he's a big anime fan or not, but if he is, that's the best thing you can do for comic books and for animes. Put a director in the seat that's a big fan of the source material. So if they were to get,
That's
Like
that's
J.J.
true.
Abrams
Okay,
with
that's
Star
true
Wars.
with just about anything. If you're gonna remake something
That's what
that
I'm
was,
saying.
you
It's the
gotta
same with
put
comic
it with
books, the
someone
same
who
with
is a
animes.
big
Yeah.
fan of the original.
Yeah.
With comic books, make a big fan of the comics. When it comes to the Disney live action remakes, get a big fan of Disney to do it. Make sure that you bring in the aspect of what makes that movie that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do. Oh, sorry about the timeout. I forgot to change MoveBot. But if you're gonna remake these movies for live action, bring in a guy that's going to, or a girl, bring in a guy or girl that's going
and
to
if I'm not
be.
mistaken, Jordan Peele is a big fan of the anime.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Animes in general. I'm not sure about
We're
the
making a
specific
new
one.
Shrek movie too. The script is done. Oh my god!
Okay.
Why? Why?
Is that gonna be
Why
live
would they
action
make a new? Can you imagine a live action Shrek, just a guy with like weird ass ears?
It's Mike Myers in a Shrek
Oh
suit.
my god!
That would be the worst.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I can't help. You probably don't know about the fanaticism, the fanaticism. God damn, of the whole Shrek thing.
Shrek is love. Shrek is love.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
If I was watching a live action Shrek movie, I would not be able to picture anything but that. I'm sorry.
Have you seen those? Shrek is love.
Oh yeah. I've
Okay.
seen those.
Deadpool is just gonna double tap people in the head with the John Wick director. Absolutely, and it's gonna be hilarious. But he's gonna say some stupid ass hilarious line when he does it.
But
The
anyway.
new It. Oh my god, the new It.
Looks beautiful. Looks beautiful.
Oh,
No,
God, I'm so
thank
excited.
you.
Seriously?
No.
It's like a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm not seeing that movie.
Why?
Did you see the trailer?
I did see the trailer.
How are you not a fan?
Oh man.
I'm just not a fan
It
of...
broke the record for most views for a trailer
Yeah.
in 24 hours.
Yeah, I saw it in 24 hours when it came out.
What is your guys' stance on cream corn? Not a fan. If it's on the cob, I love it.
Fuck cream corn.
Sweet, actually no. Sweet corn is way better.
Anyway.
Sweet corn's way better.
Cornbread. That's for me.
Cornbread
We
is.
gotta get this back on topic here. DC.
Yeah, I know. I gotta fix the Moobot. Sorry about that. Sorry.
DC. If Batfleck's gone, where do they go? What happens?
Anime. Or animation. Like, all the
Well,
best...
they already have a great anime
DC
universe.
is
They're-
the best animation.
Yes,
I agree.
absolutely.
Live
I
action
agree.
has more.
Justice
for it.
League
But they also have some of the best
Fantastic. I
comics to
love
go
the
off
Golden
of
Joe.
with the animation. So they were kind of set up to win when it comes to animation. But
But-
when it comes to an actual live action movie, who
I'm
do you
saying,
get to play Batman?
dude-
I don't know.
Well, it's gonna be tough to just replace Batman mid extended
The ladies like the cop.
Is
Popcorn.
it though?
Yes,
the guy's
they
in a
do.
mask half the time.
But I'm just saying, do you reboot or do you use Flash to set up a new timeline? That's
I'm
the
sorry,
theory.
but you can't have a DC universe without Batman.
So I'm saying,
Batman, because of the Dark Knight
You
movies,
can take
Batman
advantage
has
of
become a massively
you
household
can take
name.
advantage of the Flashpoint paradox, and you can use Flash to set up a new timeline where there's a different Bruce Wayne.
Well, they do that with, like, the TV
That
show.
would be smart, and I don't expect DC to do something smart. So,
Like, I have to say, the DC TV shows have, like, is, like, the only thing carrying it right now.
oh no doubt,
Like
Detroit.
Flash.
Lions, I'm
They're
sorry.
trying to-
In any other year, I would say don't be sorry because we're awesome. But this year, there's not much
Mirage,
to cheer
Arcane
for.
Warfare.
So.
I've never heard of that, fancy
Heard of
man.
Mirage, Arcane Warfare.
If you're more on that on Steam.
On Steam.
Sorry, I'm a console gamer. Sorry,
I
guys.
have not. I am a big PC gamer, but I'm not really huge on games like that. More of the fantasy style games. I'm more of a first-person shooter type player. I do play a little bit of DayZ, H1Z1 games like that. I played all the Metro games. Obviously, I'm a big Counter-Strike fan. I played a lot of Dave Defeat back in the day.
I played Metro.
Alright, no bragging.
Well, I got a longer list than he does.
Most of my games, my list goes on, but most of my games that I've played are your first-person shooters on. Yeah, I do play CS:GO, but most of them are my first-person shooters. I played Counter-Strike since 1.5, if that gives you any idea of how long I played. But I also like a lot of games like GTA, Mafia. Those are my fun games. I like the sports games on console. I have a PS4, so I play a lot of those. But GTA, Mafia, Last of Us is my favorite game ever.
I love The Last of
Oh my
Us.
god, Last of Us. Is
Uncharted as well. Like, all
I
three
have
games.
not gotten to play Uncharted.
How dare you? You played The Last of Us and you've never played Uncharted?
Yes.
How absolute dare you?
I know.
It's awful.
Really?
Yeah, they're that good.
Really?
Yes, you need to play
I'm on
them.
the same boat as he is. I played
Yeah.
Last of Us, I never played Uncharted.
Oh my god, who am I in the room with? Oh my god! They're made by the same company. How do you not play them?
I'm not a huge MOBA fan, so no, I played League before, but I never really got into it. I've never really gotten into
I've
MOBAs.
got awful at MOBAs,
But,
no thanks.
I'm also
So-
pretty terrible at MOBAs, so that's probably another reason. Would you like a 30-hour game you could give away? Would you like a 30-hour game you could give away? Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, cool. What game is it?
But so
Is it that new? Oh, is it that new Battlefield? It's not Battlefield. Oh man, it's
Thank
that
you.
new.
Adam Burl.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Uncharted's a game I
Thank you.
really
That's
wanted to
follow,
play.
sir.
Uncharted's,
They're so
hey, thanks
good.
for the follow, man. But Uncharted's a game I've really wanted to play. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've got so many games. I have to finish Mafia 3.
Yeah.
I have to finish. I mean, I played The Witcher and that stuff, but I never finished it because
I played a couple minutes of the Witcher. It was
but-
it's a closed beta game.
Is it that? Oh man, it's a game a lot like H1Z1, but it's more. God, I can't remember the damn name. It came out. It's by the creator of H1Z1 and not DayZ, but the guy who created Arma. God, what is his name? Or what's the game name? I can't remember. But I actually have seen it played, and it looks really awesome. And I think if that's the game you're talking about, that'd be awesome. So.
the game getting most of my time right now, though, guys, is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
I grew up with the Zelda games, and it's disappointing
touch
that I
on that.
don't have a Nintendo Switch.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah,
But,
we will.
So you guys think that DC should, if Ben Affleck would leave, should move on with just using a different Batman instead of rebooting? As troubled as their whole extended universe is right now.
I mean, who can they find as Batman to replace?
You got to get the right Batman first off, because again, Batman is such a pivotal character and such a fan favorite.
He's
that you
arguably
have
the
to
most
have.
popular character.
He's not
DC.
arguably. He is the most popular character, and you have the Dark
Some
Knight to
could
thank for
argue
that.
Superman, but
No way, because
No.
Superman's never
I
had
think
a.
it's Batman. I'm just saying Batman.
Superman's never had a good enough live action movie to warrant that.
Agreed.
Versus Batman had the Dark Knight franchises, which made it the fan favorite. Everybody, I've literally met maybe one person in my life who thinks the older versions of Batman, granted not the Batman and Robin, not the George Clooney Batmans,
But Batman.
but
and
the
Batman
Michael
Returns.
Keaton Batman is
Yeah.
better than the Dark Knight franchise, which I would disagree with, and just about 99.9% of the people in the
Both
world.
great though.
They're both
Yeah,
fantastic,
well,
but the Dark Knight took it to
trilogy,
another level.
They did, but there's also the most quotable too.
Absolutely.
Where is she?
I don't know. Batman and Robin's probably the most quotable. Hi, Freeze. Hi, Batman.
I got really far in The Witcher and I still have not finished. I've taken
I'm
two
way
long
behind
breaks
here.
from that game.
You're welcome. I'm waiting for the Necromancer for Diablo 3.
Just make Batman CG like the Hulk.
I played Diablo 3 a little bit. I actually, going way back, I played the first Diablo way back in the day on a Windows 98 PC. So I did not play Diablo 2, and I've only played a little bit of Diablo 3. No one finishes The Witcher. No one, obviously, nobody does. Just like Fallout 4.
My brother finished it twice.
Yes, my brother did. My little brother finished The Witcher twice, but Fallout 4 is another one that seems that nobody seems to finish. I've legit met no one who finished Fallout 4, just because there's so many side quests.
Oh my god, it's all the same way, man. Like, I have like 200 hours into that game, and I'm like 30% done.
I just had to finish the Blood and Wine DLC. Okay, I got you. I just make Batman CGI like the Hulk. You can't. Okay, no, because the actual character of Batman is such a huge aspect of it. His personality is such a huge aspect. You really can't do that. The Hulk is not so much, but Batman. I'm an old poop balls.
Oh, it's Balsrog. Balsrog. Hey, shout out to Balsrog.
Oh, hey,
hey. He's on my show.
Nice.
He's the main personality of Gamers with Attitude.
Okay, I got you.
So come check us out on gamerswithattitude.com, guys.
But you gotta have a real strong Batman, because again, he is if you have a shitty Batman, you're gonna have a shitty movie when it comes to DC. If you have a good Batman, you have at least a good shot to have a good movie. They had a good Batman in Batman vs Superman, but they didn't have a good movie because that was garbage.
True. Balsrog did beat Fallout. Yeah, I know somebody that beat Fallout.
Really?
He did everything.
You honestly would be the only person I've ever heard of beating Fallout.
No, it wasn't me. It was like on the other show that I'm a part of. Like the main guy. Well, he beat it. He made like a tower.
Okay.
It's Adam. Yeah.
But so the one that really worries me, because I agree with you, Mike, that you can easily do put off the Captain America thing where you kill off Steve Rogers and you replace him with Bucky Barnes.
But that goes along with the comics.
Yeah, exactly. You can easily do that.
You can't do that with Batman.
No, what worries me is Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Because first of all, I cannot picture anyone else in the role of Tony Stark.
He's
Robert Downey Jr.
perfect for Tony Stark. Yeah. But on top of that, though, I think in the situation of Robert Downey Jr.
What's up, dude?
I think in the situation of Robert Downey Jr. is he's the first of all of them. So he's probably a little bit burned out by this now. He's done how many movies?
But I don't know where Marvel can go if they lose Robert Downey Jr.
You may have to kill off Iron Man.
They could kill him in Infinity War.
You may have to kill him off at that point.
See, I'm not as familiar with the Iron Man comics. Do you guys know if he gets killed off at some point?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so, but at the same time, you don't need to strictly stick with the comics.
Well, I know. I'm seeing if they have an out.
I'm
seeing if they have an out. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that would be the route either way. You can kill him off. It's a way. It's it's not the most fan favorite way in a lot of times, but sometimes it has to happen. And if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to continue with these movies, which I think he should, I mean, that's an out.
Yeah.
So, but what do you replace him with? Do you replace him with Spider-Man?
Well,
Spider-Man's already in the MCU though.
Yes, but as a real member of the team.
You can't, because Robert Downey Jr. is basically the elder of that squad, and Spider-Man's the young guy.
He'd be the young guy.
That's right. In the comic.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Balls. He leaves and gives up the mantle to that girl.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
You are. That is right.
Yeah.
You're right. But
so that could possibly happen.
You could see that, which actually would. I can actually kind of see that.
Did you guys hear the budget for Infinity War?
Oh, isn't it? Oh, it's insane.
It's
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's $1 billion budget. Like,
if they don't blow,
was that for
I'm
both
sorry.
movies though?
If they don't blow
Yeah,
a bunch of if they don't blow a bunch of shit up, I'm disappointed. They need to blow some shit up.
It's gonna make its money back.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you guys
it's such a
understand?
massive franchise.
Do you guys understand the lines that are going to be to get into that movie?
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a fucking zoo. To get
Absolutely.
Into Infinity Wars.
There's going to be theaters that every single one of their screens is going to be showing.
Like, I want to see it day one, but at the same time, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Day one on Thursday at 7 p.m. That would be the
Yo, Bombers, I don't know if you're still watching, but your Spurs just lost to the Lakers 102-95.
Ugh.
Dun dun dun.
Disappointing. But no, there's. If Affleck leaves, you gotta find someone that's going to play. You gotta. They may have to try to go.
It's unfortunate because I actually really love Ben Affleck as Batman.
I do too.
Yeah, and he
fits
could have
the
brought like a
role.
really he was a good writer, so he could have brought like a.
Well, he quit as director.
Well,
so-
they
Yeah, he
tossed
should have wrote the Batman movie.
He did. He was supposed to direct,
He
write,
was-
and produce.
Yes,
and
and
star.
then he got pissed
They
off because
tossed the
DC
script.
meddles in their shit. I mean, in one of our
they
first
tossed the
shows,
script.
one of our first shows, my man went off on DC over here saying, "Lay the fuck off." I mean, one of the most quotable lines from the show, "Lay the fuck off" on DC. Like, it was great. But that's why Ben Affleck wanted to leave. That's why I think he's getting kind of burned out on this movie already because DC is overbearing. That's why their movies suck. They control too much. They don't let the directors direct and the writers write. They put too much of their own vision in the movie when they shouldn't.
Yeah,
The
they should.
studio needs to back the fuck off, basically. So, but shall we move on?
Yeah.
Move on.
All right, video games. We haven't talked about too many video games recently. Really, there's not too much news.
You kind of
out,
dropped the
but-
ball on the Switch.
We did drop ball on Switch, but now we got our man over here that has a Switch.
No, I
Oh,
don't have a
you
Switch
don't have a
actually. No, I'm in the
How are you
category of
playing-
waiting.
How are you?
Oh.
Yeah.
How are you playing Zelda?
Wii U. Duh.
Yeah,
It came out on both.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we raised the question of obviously Nintendo Switch is the most recent console to have been released, and we're gonna ask the question of: do you buy it now? Do you wait? Or do you just skip it
Obviously,
altogether?
there's a limit on the games right now.
Right, there is a limit on the
There is
games,
Very
and
wide
there-
selection.
Nope. Zelda is a system seller though. People have been.
yes, all the,
People
that's a
who
big
don't
seller
have a
right now.
Wii U already.
I mean, just like Last of Us was a system seller for the PS4, there's no doubt about that. But
PS4, PS3 even.
PS3,
Yeah,
both of them.
They came out on
Both of them.
PS3, so
I personally want to wait till Mario comes out.
Mario
I do
Kart
too.
or Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Odyssey.
That one doesn't look. That looks okay to me. Like I'm not even impressed. Like I was looking at all the games for it, and I'm like,
I'm a sucker for Mario.
me too. I love my Mario games, man. Like Super Mario Maker for the Wii U, amazing.
See, me, I was a huge fan of the NES Marios, like the original Mario games. that are,
1, 2, and 3.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, those are the ones that I'm a huge fan of that I played all the time when I was up north at my cabin in Canada because all we had was a NES up there, which I honestly loved more than my PlayStation half the time because I loved playing.
You have a PlayStation,
Mario.
right, Mike?
What PlayStation? I've
Four?
owned all 4 of them.
Four?
Yeah.
Okay. Question for you.
Yes.
You have $400.
Yeah.
Do you buy the Switch and pocket some cash, or do you go all in and buy the PlayStation VR?
That's a good question.
I mean, honestly, VR because for PlayStation for Nintendo Switch, I mean, you spend $400, or if you have $400,
Yeah.
you're only walking away with like $40-something because the system itself is
$299.
$299.
Yeah.
Doesn't come with a game. First
Oh,
time,
it doesn't?
It does
I
not.
thought that was a bundle.
No, that's why I'm waiting because there is no bundle for the Switch.
Really?
Yes, that is a big reason why I'm waiting.
That's honestly that is kind
Because
of
I'm not paying $300 and then another $50 for another game.
that would be a huge reason for me to wait on it because one of the big selling points when I bought my PS4 was the fact that I got Last of Us with it.
I got
It's a
Batman with
huge
my
game
PS4,
that-
so yeah.
Exactly. That's something that those game bundles are huge sellers because the games aren't cheap. That's another $50, $60.
Mhm.
They're not cheap. And I don't know how the hell he highway robbed this one, but he came with a controller. Came with what? 2 extra games?
$492.
Yeah, for
I got-
$492. He got his console,
Got a
an
console,
extra controller.
2 controllers, PlayStation camera, 4 games.
Wow.
Highway robbery over here.
Black Friday.
Okay. Black Friday.
But yes, the Nintendo Switch needs a bundle, and there's no better game to bundle with than Zelda, obviously. And they may bundle with Super Mario Odyssey when that comes out.
That would be cool, but I would like to keep. I have a Zelda-themed Wii U system that came with the Wind Waker game,
Okay.
and I have a Zelda-themed 3DS. So,
So
they
you
need
gotta
a
keep-
Zelda-themed Wii Switch.
So
and I'd be,
you want them to go with?
here's
the
my
theme
money,
or something?
Nintendo. Here it is on a silver platter.
Splat Rat.
1-2 Switch should have been bundled with a yes, exactly. 1-2 Switch is kind of like
Get the Wii Sports version of the
and
Switch.
What's going on,
essentially
Splatterrat?
yes. Splatterrat. Splatrat? Yeah.
95, yeah.
Splatrat 95. Good.
Yeah,
Good comment.
that's like the Wii Sports.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
basically like mini games
Yeah.
that showcase what the Switch
That,
can
That's
do.
all the
that makes a
shootout
lot of
one.
sense.
Yeah,
though.
but it is, but it's not bundled.
Pretty much they're
I
Wii
am
Sports.
not
Which
buying
that
that
really-
separately.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Why wouldn't you bundle something like that?
That's what I'm saying. Show off the
If you're gonna have a $300 system, bundle something with it.
Exactly.
If you're gonna, the Nintendo Wii, the first one, wasn't that expensive to begin with. So if they didn't want to bundle something with that, fine. But the Switch isn't a more expensive console. It's a $300 console. Bundle something. Make people
it's
want
a
to buy
perfect
your
thing to
console.
show off some of the capabilities of the system. So it's the perfect thing to
Exactly.
bundle with
It's
show off the capability and make people want to
it's
buy
a
more.
building blocks game for a system.
Exactly.
And the Switch has actually been encountering some problems too.
I've
Like,
heard there've been
where
melting on
The
port.
dock where you
The
put
dock.
the actual
Oh,
Switch
damn.
Yeah.
Sounds
into
like
the
they need
dock
cooling.
is scratching the screen.
I heard it's been melting.
Really?
It's also I haven't heard melted, but I've heard it's been bent. Like the actual like
So
tablet.
like iPhones.
Yeah, like the iPhone, exactly. And then the
Are
battery
they
life.
exploding like the notes?
No,
Oh,
no,
damn.
they're not exploding. I mean, the battery life for the tablet, once you take it out of the dock, I mean, it's between 2 and 6 hours, depending on what you're doing with it.
That's
Yeah.
quite the variance.
Yeah, I mean,
What the hell?
Zelda's about 3 hours.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's kind of disappointing because I'm used to Game Boys where I can have like 6 hours of game play or more.
yeah.
So,
But,
I mean,
Also,
you're
not
gonna have-
nearly
Yeah.
as powerful.
No,
as
not
the
nearly
Switch.
as powerful. You're
And-
not getting the same. You know what console I really wished? I think they overdid it on the specs and stuff, and it kind of priced a lot of people out. But I was really excited for this console based on the interface alone. Not to mention the games that were going to come with it, but the Steam box.
yes.
That should have been a console to beat all consoles, but they made it too powerful, which priced so many people out. Nobody was going to buy it. So at that
What was the
point,
price point for that?
Now, the
Like
Steam
$2
controller that came with that box,
Who the
that
fuck's
thing's
gonna buy
on
a
point.
console for $2,000?
yes.
Well, I
It
mean,
was
no.
it
There,
was-
there were like 8 different versions
There
of the Steam
were a
box.
ton of different versions, but at the
Starting
same
at like
time,
500.
Yeah,
Okay.
but at the same time, though, they didn't market it well enough to begin with. You need to market to the right audience, which they only marketed to their computer audience, really. Which at that point, why the hell is someone who already has a gaming computer that plays Steam games going to buy a Steam box? There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
point.
there is absolutely no
So you got to market to the console gamers, which
Mhm.
they really didn't do because I didn't see commercials for it. I didn't see massive ads at Best Buy for
Well,
it.
and
I
also
didn't
because
see-
of they just let different companies make their own versions of the Steam box, so there was
Yeah.
like 8 of them on the market.
Yeah,
so,
exactly, which is another flawed thing because they could have really made a great console that would have
Yeah.
rivaled, the
Increase the
Nintendo's.
Switch resolution is suitable to power.
It's a great idea because
Yeah.
Well,
maybe
yeah,
it
I
has been
mean,
overheating. So.
Frankly, if you got a dock, any kind of dock should always have a fan because
Yeah.
when you put something in a dock, you are creating an enclosed space around the cooling elements. This is going nerd talk here, but creating enclosed spaces around the cooling elements of a working machine. When you
Yeah.
do that, you're creating hot air building up in an area that's going to just continue to rise in heat and eventually destroy the thing. That's why you have so many fans in a high-powered computer because they generate so much heat that you need to constantly have a good flow of air running through. And so if you have a dock that has no fan running through, that's stupid. That's a horrible design. You need to have some kind of airflow coming through the dock so that the heat just isn't transferring to the dock and sitting there. Because that's what it sounds like it's doing, is it's transferring heat from the system to the dock and sitting there and then melting everything that goes with the Nintendo Switch. So
Also, am I the one that thinks a $400 price point is way too high for the PlayStation VR?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more expensive than the console is now.
Yeah.
Or
No.
about the same price. As the
No.
console, sorry.
I think
You don't think it's too high?
No, in terms of the market. I think VR as a whole, the price point is too high. The Oculus is a very high price point also. The Gear VR, granted, the Gear VR is nowhere near what the PlayStation VR or any of the Oculus is. But the price point for the market
Well, because the
niche...
Gear VR is all through the phone.
Yes, the price point for the market niche that it has is very high. $400, $500, $600.
Yeah.
That'll
So-
come down in the next few years.
Yes, it will, because the technology
So
is going to
you
get
wait
better
on
and
the
better.
on the VR too.
Oh, absolutely. I played VR. I've tried it out.
If I had the expendable money,
it's
I
nice.
wouldn't wait on that. If I
Yeah.
had the expendable money where I could just blow $400 for like nothing, I'd
Now,
probably buy a VR.
let me ask you guys something. Have you guys tried out the VRs before?
Not
Uh,
the PlayStation VR.
no,
I
I
have
haven't
tried out.
played any
Yes,
of them.
I've tried
Yes.
a Gear VR. Before.
Okay. Have you
And
played the horror games that are associated with that?
I played Slenderman. on
I've
it.
watched videos of it and it
No.
was fucking terrifying.
No.
Played Slenderman.
No. that's a big tall glass of nope for me. I tried one on. Like I was in the first room when I was walking around.
I'm waiting for third-party
I
docs
walked
for Switch Dock Pro.
down the hall. I'm like, no,
Smart idea, Spy. That's a very smart
Was it
idea.
scary?
Oh yes.
Oh, that's the best part,
Yeah,
though.
Yeah,
you
'cause,
also
like,
have to buy a stupid
nothing
camera
is
and
telling
controller.
your
It's like
brain.
$550 without a bundle.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have a PlayStation Move with, but I gave it to my friend when I gave him my PlayStation 3. I didn't think I'd ever need to use it again.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for third-party docs for Switch Dock Pro. A lot of times third-party is the way to go, just because they're able to take an outside resource and say, hey, this is what you guys screwed up on. And a company like Nintendo or a bigger name company is very hesitant to admit when they screwed up on something. It took Samsung a while to admit they screwed up on the Note, but. So with that being said, the third-party companies are going to be probably the first to release them, and also the ones that are going to say, hey, Nintendo screwed up on this, this is how we fixed it, and we fixed that exact issue, whereas Nintendo's going to try to release something that's going to halfway fix a bunch of issues, or halfway fix this issue, but also bring a lot of other features into it, which may not be useful at all. So a third-party might be the way to go as long as it's fully compatible and worth it. So pissed Mad Cats are going out of business.
Oh yeah, I heard about. You guys hear about that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
Mad
about
Cats,
that, yeah.
like peripheral company.
Yeah.
They're going under.
Yeah.
They filed for bankruptcy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Though honestly, though, I think they'll end up getting,
R.I.P. Mad Cats.
I think they'll end up getting
Peace and
bought
love.
out. They'll end up getting bought out by someone that'll put the money into it and probably be willing to keep the franchise alive.
We'll see.
I hope that's what happens.
I don't think so.
They might, but
Because you got Rock Candy now vying for
true.
market share. You got what else? The light up ones. I forgot what the names are.
I can't remember. But going back to the VR conversation, it's, in my opinion, I would probably buy a VR instead of a Switch right now. Also, if I
Where will I get my
if I had
sticks now?
$400, I'd probably buy a VR.
Internet.
Granted, I really do.
I want it mainly for that Resident Evil game, man.
Resident Evil
I really want VR so I can play the horror games. The horror games look awesome.
Resident Evil looks insane
Like,
on the VR.
No.
They look terrifying.
They are
Alright,
terrifying.
I'm gonna
I
vibe for you one thing.
literally-
Not a big fan of horror. First it's it, then it's Resident Evil.
I want to have the shit scared out of me. When it comes to a horror game, I've yet to be truly scared from a horror game outside of like, I think Amnesia kind of scared me a little bit.
I love Outlast.
Outlast is another one that was really good, but there's a few horror games that did really scare me. But the big name ones like The Evil Within didn't
Not
really
for-
scare me
yeah,
all
for
that
$6.
much. Until Dawn didn't really scare me all that much. But if I'm playing a game like that in
Until Dawn was
VR,
really fun though. Until Dawn
yes, it was.
really
But if I'm
fun.
playing a game in VR like that, oh my god, I'm probably crying by the end.
yeah.
I'm so scared. Could you imagine Outlast
Can
in
you
VR?
imagine Until Dawn VR? You can't just put the controller down where you literally have to stay still.
Right. Could you imagine Outlast in VR? That'd be terrifying.
Oh my god, that's in first person, isn't it?
Yes.
No.
That'd be so scary. It'd
No.
be awesome.
No.
I would love
Do
to
it.
play that. I want to do it.
Let's do it.
So there's more excitement for me in that aspect when it comes to when it comes to virtual reality.
Yeah.
So if I got $400, I'm buying virtual reality. I'm buying a PlayStation VR because that's something that I can.
VR.
The Switch can kinda do VR, you know.
VR headsets Nintendo has planned. The Switch headset.
Yeah. If they got VR and it's shitty, I probably don't want to go that route. But again, that's something I'll have to pay extra for probably. So with that being said, because I'm really not saving money and only getting one game with
Probably cheaper than PlayStation's VR though.
probably. But again, though, VR, because of the market, yes, it's overpriced.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the market, no, it's not.
Mhm.
It's right on point.
Yeah.
So, but again, though, Nintendo Switch, it's something I'm waiting on until they get a bundle. Just like he said, it's something I'm waiting on until they kind of fix
Probably
something.
gonna wait until like a second generation Switch comes out.
So when they
Like
fix other
2.0.
bugs, they upgrade
Yeah.
the hard drives, they upgrade things like
Exactly.
that. That makes a lot of sense.
Now, what
which
really-
which again though, you can argue doing that with every console because
And-
the Xbox One, the new
and
Xbox
the
ones that are
DMR
out are way better than the originals. The PlayStation 4 Pros that are out are way better than the original PS4s.
Do you guys want to know
So-
something really bad about the Switches too?
Hmm.
They have the same amount of capacity for space for memory as the Wii U's do.
Seriously?
32 gigabytes.
Is it upgradable though?
Yeah, with an SD card.
Oh man, that's so disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another big
And
reason.
I
How
thought
big are the games?
And I
Because
can
can imagine that you're
PlayStation
playing-
at 500
the games
gigabytes.
and I have to delete shit to put a new game on.
The games themselves are like on cartridges now. They're not actually on discs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're not. Are they installing to the thing though?
Not
No?
really, no.
Okay, so
Wait,
all you have that
They're
same.
doing a VR X-Wing for Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
You guys know what?
No, hold on.
Yeah. There's a VR X-Wing game coming out.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
They're losing their minds. Yeah.
They're forcing.
You about to put me $400 in debt here. I just want you to know that.
They're forcing my hand. I don't know if you ever.
Switch says no game. They're right. I mean, except Legend of Zelda. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is coming out in this.
I'm super excited for that because I love Mario Kart.
It's sweet, but it's the same game that came out.
It is the same game
for the Wii U.
Yeah, it
but
is the same
you get
game.
a couple more drivers.
But again, though,
and battle modes introduced.
Okay.
Because like battle mode in the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 was garbage. You literally were on a figure 8 track, and you're like, let's battle by driving on the same racetrack you used to race.
You know, the Mario Kart game, in my opinion, that has the best battle mode still to this day, I think, is Nintendo 64.
I agree, and they're bringing that back. Like they're bringing like the battle arenas back.
Awesome.
Into the
That's what
game.
they should do.
Yes.
Because they, in my opinion, the N64 had the best arenas and the best game styles, like styles of battle.
Speaking of Mario, we're having a Mario Party.
Mario Party 10 is out for the
they're still making
for the
those?
Wii U. Yeah.
They are.
I mean,
are they any good?
No, well, okay. Mario Party 9 and 10, they changed the dynamic of the games. So instead of like everybody scattered around the board, like running around in their own pace and going different places, everyone's on the same train car and they're going along the same path. So, but they take turns. So like when one person's turn, they'll move the whole train car and they'll land on that for that person.
I haven't played it yet, but I feel like that's not as fun.
No, it's not really. But the games go a lot quicker.
For me, Mario Party 4 was like the zenith of Mario Party for me.
N64, man.
Yeah, I think
the last one that had the true style was Mario Kart or Mario Party 8 for the Wii, and that was the first one with like the motion controls where you could go.
That was fun. Mario Party 8 for the Wii was a lot of fun. I will say that.
Yeah,
I did
but like they only have like 4 or 5 levels.
Okay, so he's saying that the X-Wing VR is already out. It's free as long as you have Star Wars Battlefront, but it's only 30 minutes long. So that's a little bit of a letdown. But if they were to release like an entire game on Star Wars X-Wing, that'd be badass.
Like the one for the N64, Star Wars Rendezvous, and
you know what game I really wish they would bring to the Nintendo Switch, and this is probably extremely unpopular for some people, but Star Fox.
Oh yeah.
I mean they have the Wii U.
You know what?
Let's just
bring this topic right now.
Oh man, you gotta bring the real shit in.
Let's just bring this to the next topic right now. What is your favorite classic video game? Because we're starting to get into that territory right now.
We are kind of starting to get into that territory.
Yeah. Okay. We can go favorite classic.
Yeah. You know what? Let's mix our topics. Favorite classic video game. All right, shoot.
Ooh.
Being our video game fanatic.
How classic are we talking about?
Wait, what was Splatterhead said?
I'll go Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 for Super Nintendo.
Okay, that's a good one.
So Splatterhead said that Bowser Chase and Mario Party 10 was a fantastic idea. Does anyone know what that was? Does anybody know what that? Do you know what that was?
Bowser Chase. Yeah, that's like a game mode in which like everyone's in the cart and then Bowser's chasing you.
All right, you should be.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You should be on.
That's actually a 5-player game mode, and one player gets to play as Bowser. And there's like Bowser games. So that's pretty cool.
Star Fox Assault 2 with good controls. Hell yes! Thank you.
So, my favorite class, I gotta shout out GoldenEye.
Of course. Oh, absolutely.
Oh shit, if there was an entire VR game for Star Wars X-Wing, that would be badass. I would totally buy that shit. But, no. GoldenEye is probably my pick for best classic game. Another one I really, really love to play is Donkey Kong 64. That game was a lot of fun.
You guys are calling classic 64 games,
I know.
Are we eliminating...
Okay, if we're going back, way back, Michael Jordan versus Magic, whatever.
Are we eliminating that? Because I think that's all of our favorite.
Mario,
the original Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
But that's not my favorite Mario, though.
Really?
Super Nintendo Mario is my favorite.
Yeah.
Super Mario World.
Okay.
The one with Yoshi. In the cape? You remember the feather?
Now, if we're going Battletoads, hey man,
1,
Battletoads!
2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't think I had Super Mario World then.
You must have had All Stars then. That had all.
It was 3 was a yellow one. You had like the with the suit with the flying suit.
Yeah,
that thing. Yeah.
Do you have Battletoads?
Do I have Battletoads?
No, but
Battletoads is one of the hardest games of all time.
If we're going off of a pure amount of time I played a game, just purely amount of time I played a game, my probably most played classic game, Pokemon Blue.
Oh wow.
Oh, Pokemon, man. I played
the Pokemon Red and Blue versions. I probably played.
I played every generation
more than any game I've ever played. Those games I played day in, day out, several hours a day through car rides, hanging out with my parents at grocery stores or whatever as a kid. I played those games like crazy.
Yeah.
I probably played those games more than I played any game ever. And there's times where it's nostalgic for me to play those games again.
I played those games so much.
Capcom versus SNK2 is my favorite fighting game.
That's a good fighting game.
That's a good one.
Speaking of fighting games, Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2.
I don't know. If
I really liked.
It's a
It's a side scroller.
Yeah, side scroller fighting game.
Yeah.
One of my favorite fighting games was the. I want to say
Super
Tekken
Smash
2.
Brothers.
Tekken 2 was a lot of fun to play. And
I like Tekken.
I'm not even talking like the actual handheld video games or whatever. I'm talking the actual arcade style Tekken games.
Well, one of the
Those are
arcade
fun as
style
hell.
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam was a lot of fun, but the Simpsons game was a lot of fun to play in arcade style.
Alright, I have a question for you guys.
God damn it! Stop.
If
Move on. You're unbanned.
If you could get a modern version of a classic game, what would you want?
Well, I mean, I get it with Zelda. There's a classic, or there's a modern
Well,
version
yeah,
of
you already
Zelda.
have that.
There's
Modern
Mario.
version of a classic game.
You know what I want? I want them to bring the James Bond games back.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah, like
Which they kind of did have a modern version
GameCube
of
had
the
a couple.
They had
PlayStation
GoldenEye.
2 had a
They had
couple.
Or that was the
GoldenEye.
last one they did. They did GoldenEye Reloaded.
Yes.
And that was just basically...
Oh, they actually
Bond.
remade GoldenEye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for GoldenEye Reloaded.
Yeah.
They had it for PS3 too.
Smash
No,
is
they had a
nothing
total
on
separate
Smash is nothing on
GoldenEye
KOF.
remake.
I know, they
Crossover fighting.
added on the GoldenEye. They re-released that GoldenEye with
Comics.
more stuff in it, basically, for the PS3 and Xbox. It came out after the Wii exclusive.
Yeah, because I
Bring
remember the
back-
Wii version had the gold controller that came
Yeah,
with it.
I do
Ooh.
agree that they need to bring back the James Bond franchise. If you want to start it over, fine. That makes sense. If you want to go it off of the newer movies, fine. Okay,
That's what I
that
would
still
think
makes
they would
sense. Yeah.
Because you don't have
You
like,
should have a definitive Bond game with like all the villains and all the characters, like all the different
man.
Bonds,
That'd be awesome.
like Oddjob and Jaws. And
Yes.
like one massive Bond.
And like
game.
007.
One massive
Okay.
Bond franchise.
Would you now question? Would you model it after how the old Bond games were? Or would you give it a different style? A la like Drake Uncharted.
No, make it an arcade shooter. Just
Yes,
like the
arcade shooter. Make it.
So you wouldn't want to make it more realistic.
No,
more
make it a la the
No.
original Bonds because that was the charming aspect of the
It
game.
was. I agree.
The arcade shooter aspect was a lot of fun to play. Honestly, in my
But
opinion.
now the newest arcade shooter is Overwatch. So I mean,
Yeah, but you can't go that route with it. You gotta go actual James Bond arcade shooter. You gotta go a
Yeah,
la
ask
real
your
James
question.
Bond.
Ask your question. I can't read your name. Can you read his name?
Johnny.
it's in bright yellow or bright lime.
God, that is so hard to read. Can you change his color? God.
Yeah, ask
Johnny,
your question.
ask your question. Johnny something. Johnny Etzel, I think it says.
Etzel, yeah.
Etzel. Johnny Etzel. Yeah, go ahead, man. But no, there's James Bond's a good one to bring back for a classic game. But if
They
we're
do
going,
a new F-Zero game too.
yeah,
F-Zero, the racing game from GameCube was the last one they had one.
right.
You know Captain Falcon?
Yep.
Yeah.
His racing
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
You know what? You know what my favorite GameCube racing game was?
Which one?
Burnout.
Burnout?
You know those games you just destroy cars?
Yeah.
Johnny Etzel.
Yeah, Johnny Etzel.
Thoughts on LeVar Ball? LOL. Oh man,
He spent 2 shows on it.
We spent 2 shows on LeVar Ball. If you want to know about LeVar Ball and what our thoughts on it, we have our shows up on YouTube. You can check that shit out there. But we'll give you a brief synopsis. What the hell? The man's an idiot. Like, oh my God, shut your damn mouth. You don't know what the fuck you're talking
Wasn't he
about.
the point guard from UCLA?
No, that's his son.
That's his son.
That's his dad. LeVar's his dad.
LeVar's dad, the one that's a loud
so-
mouth that says that he could beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the
One-on-one,
fuck-
undefeated. I ain't never lost.
You do that pretty damn good. Holy shit. Again, though, if I had LeVar Ball on this show,
Yeah, thanks,
which
Flat Rat. Yeah.
F-Zero needs to come back.
Yes.
F-Zero does need to come back, but if I had LeVar
no,
Ball on this
pretzel.
show, if there's a few things I'd say. One, back up your lunacy with some real tangible statistics or tangible facts, because everything you say is based off of complete and utter idiocy. There is no sense to you beating Michael Jordan, because while you averaged 2.5 points at Washington State, he averaged 31 for the Chicago Bulls and won a championship that year, I believe. So, where's your reasoning there? How are you going to beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one in that aspect? Because the man would literally dribble
Michael
circles
Jordan's
around
the
you.
GOAT.
He is the greatest.
And it's only gotten worse now. Cause now
And it is only worse because now he's
now-
calling out his kid's high school team.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
calling out the coaches. He's calling out. He's saying he's literally.
He's saying it's
taking-
his system that gave
Yes.
UCLA success.
You didn't hear? Oh no, we heard about the $1 billion offer. He's trying to already sign his kids to a shoe deal for $1 billion. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that makes them all ineligible players when it comes to college basketball.
He said it's okay. They can pay.
But
He said he'll take it. He'll take $5 million per year installments.
Per year installments.
Okay with that.
Get a $1 billion deal for all 3 of his kids. Which I made the statement last week, and I stand by this. I stand by this right now. That one, if not 2 of his 3 sons will not be in basketball past the age of 20. They will no longer be in basketball past the age of 20.
Wait,
not because of LeVar Ball's sons.
All of them?
1, if not 2. They will not be in basketball past the age of 20. And the reason is not because of talent, because they're extremely talented. It's because their father is going to burn them out, and the media hype and the media attention around them is going to burn them out. They will have the wrong mentality going into it because of their father. That was drilled into them, and it's gonna hurt them.
So
it already has.
That's not LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta is a series that originally came out on Xbox 360, and Nintendo brought it over and released Bayonetta 2. And it's basically like, you play as like a witch doctor. She's like a witch that can summon demons from hell. And she's actually a Smash Brothers character because it was one of the fan-voted characters in.
For which one?
Lonzo does have the best chance. I think he probably is the
DLC
best
character.
of the 3. LaMelo bothers me because I don't think he's a basketball player. I think he's a me guy. I think that's going to translate to the NBA where it's not gonna work out. So I don't even think it's going to work in college for him. I don't know enough about the youngest brother to really say what kind of talent he has. I know he's probably talented, pure raw talent, but again, if he's like LaMelo, then he's going to struggle, no doubt, when it comes to a real basketball environment. So, but back to video games here. Another game, and again, I brought this up, I think it was last week, but a game for PlayStation 1 that I played the shit out of that I've literally never met another person who even has heard of this game. Toomba. It's called Toomba or Tomba, whatever it is. It's a PlayStation 1 game that's
I've never heard of this.
It's a 2D graphic game, 2D graphic adventure
Mike
game.
hasn't heard of it? I don't think this
It's literally one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
I think you're having a case of the Mandela.
No, I will show you. You know what?
Probably exists.
After the show, I will show you a video of this game. You know, I'm looking it up right now. I will show you. I played the shit out of this game. It's Devil May Cry, but with a witch instead of Dante. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's a cool Smash Bros. character.
Alright, it's called Tomba, and is this it?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay. But I played the shit out of that game.
I
know what you're talking about. Thank you.
The look of it reminds me of Super Mario 64.
It's similar-ish, but there's more adventure aspects.
Super Mario 64 is the greatest N64 game of all time.
I agree.
GoldenEye was really good.
Okay, as a platformer, the greatest platformer.
Shit.
Okay, how about this? What is your all-time favorite console ever? Favorite console that you ever played? I gotta go on 64 because I had more fun with the N64.
Nostalgia purposes, N64,
yes.
but the best console, it's a PS4.
Okay, from purely the way it's played, yes, but the most fun I've had with games gotta be on 64.
Okay,
I might say GameCube.
Really? Mm-hmm. I had a GameCube.
Best multiplayer system, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, but the best time. I mean, because like I played Mario Kart, Smash Brothers,
which are some of the most fun multiplayer games out there.
Mario Party,
yeah.
I mean, especially
PS1. Okay, I literally loved my PS1 so much I bought 3 of them. When my first one broke, I bought it again. When my second one broke, I bought it again. There was something wrong with the readers on PS1.
Leangel's the middle. My fault. I wasn't trying to interrupt the top. Look, good, man. This is how we operate.
No. You know what? Shit goes on the fly. We'll take it all day. But
we went off topic before we started the first topic.
I'm pretty sure we've been calling him Lukevius or something like that.
I've only been calling
Leangelo's the name I was looking for, but
no, we called him Leangelo.
Did we?
Yeah. I corrected you the first time we mentioned him.
You said you didn't even know he had 3 sons.
No, I didn't. I never said that.
Okay, whatever. But with that being said, I still don't think. I think it's going to get worse as you go down the generations with those. But still, that family's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids are in trouble. They're not meant for a. Think of Rod Marinovich.
Mm-hmm.
Think of not Doug Flutie. Ryan Leaf. Perfect example. Born and bred to be a professional athlete. How'd that work out for him? I hope Lonzo goes a different way because I think Lonzo's got a head on his shoulders that his dad hasn't corrupted yet. But I definitely see LeVar Ball way too much in LaMelo Ball.
I think with LaMelo Ball, the only thing is know about him for the 2 videos I've seen of him. The one was him scoring the 92 or 93 points in that game.
Which was a joke.
Which he was basically just cherry picking the whole time. There's no defense being played. And the second one was him playing hero ball, running up the clock with like 18 seconds.
And shoots damn near a half court.
Yeah.
Well, his teammate's
Chucks
wide
up
open in the
long
corner.
three,
Oh my god.
misses, loses the game for the team.
Yeah.
So that's all I know about LaMelo Ball. And from those two videos, I just comprised of a selfish player that's not going to go far unless he changes his ways.
The Wii is my favorite console. I had so much fun of it. The last truly stable console.
I mean, the Wii was susceptible. I'm on my third Wii right now because the disc drive
Yeah, the
out.
Wii. I had one Wii die. I think we bought a second one, but the Wii did have some issues. There's no doubt about it. The PS1 was super solid, but I was a young kid, so it probably was a lot of my fault why I had 3 PS1s, but. PS2 was another
PS4 or Xbox One? Oh, PS4 all day.
PS4, no doubt.
Oh,
PS4 no doubt has better titles, better games, better graphics, all across the board, better specifications, better hardware. It's all across the board.
Xbox One runs better.
Except the memory space, the hard drive space.
Which the PS4 Pro has a terabyte.
They have a terabyte, but now they fixed it where they have an update initiated where you can now use an external hard drive.
Yes.
Wait, what?
On the older versions?
I think so.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You may just have saved my life. But
the pain of deleting games.
I had to delete Last of Us.
I have to hold funerals for every game.
Yes.
And they're all in my pants too.
But okay, the Xbox One, in my opinion, I don't think the Xbox One runs better because the hardware in the PS4 way beats out the Xbox One, and that's true with the newer generations of them too. Mm-hmm. So when Xbox One released their newest generation console, PS4 came out with the Pro, and the Pro blew out that version of the Xbox One anyways. So, but with that being said, though, the one thing I think Xbox does do better than PlayStation is the compatibility that you have with your computer, the connectivity that you're able to have
Windows 10
with the
Microsoft,
Windows interface and the actual Media Center console aspect of it is a great idea and very, very interactive, and I like that. But that, in my opinion, is not enough to sell me. You gotta have better exclusives, and I think that's one thing that Microsoft has really dropped the ball on.
I just bought an exclusive for PS4 yesterday.
What one?
Persona 5, a JRPG series game that
Xbox One's up, PS4's
I've been enjoying it. Just a few hours into it so far.
Wasn't it the Xbox One was only built for 30 FPS up until their most recent release? So that's kind of sad to begin with. This is 2017 now. And, I mean, when the Xbox One was released, 2015?
Yeah.
And you're not yet on 60 FPS like the rest of the world has been for a while. That's pretty disappointing. Mm-hmm. So, Xbox stuff
to be fair, Nintendo doesn't do it either.
Well, okay, but Nintendo doesn't have the games that warrant 60 FPS.
Yeah, that's true. Nintendo goes over quality versus
They
extreme graphics.
Right. They don't have
amazing.
games that have the extreme landscapes like a Skyrim or a Last of Us or games like that.
Adams, did you made a video on
Legend
Xbox,
of Zelda
on Xbox One versus PS4?
Okay, yes, they have great, but it's not real imagery. It's cartoon imagery.
Yeah.
You don't need 60 FPS.
Omega Fresh, Persona, man. Another Persona fan. Get 5. It's incredible.
But when it comes to Legend of Zelda, it's not real imagery. It's cartoon imagery.
Yeah,
so it's not something that needs 60 FPS.
It looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Now, did you know the rest
Smash
of the
working 60 FPS? Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's so much shit going on, but...
Did you know about Skyrim, about Legend of Zelda's map? It's 9 times the size of Skyrim's map.
Holy shit.
I'm not even joking.
Which is...
massive.
GTA 5's map was what, 2.5? What was GTA 5's map? 2.5 times the size of Skyrim?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 3 times.
Was it 3 times?
It's bigger than GTA's map.
I know, so it's basically like 3 or 4 times bigger than GTA's map.
Try playing a fire less than 60 FPS. Oh, I know. It is a nightmare, and it's hard to follow along with. My God.
I thought The Witcher's map was fucking huge.
The Witcher's map was too big.
No. Compared to that, Final Fantasy 15's map is insane.
Okay, one game that's map is way too big for the style of the game, and this is one thing that really turned me off from the game, is DayZ. The map is massive, and it's literally Running Simulator 3. You run across the whole thing. Granted, now they have cars, but still, it's such a massive map, and most of the time you spend it running, and it's horrible.
Speaking of Final Fantasy,
that game's boring for
Did you guys see the Conan Clueless gamer where he played Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah.
And just went off on it.
Remember the one where he played Battlefield 1? Where he played Battlefield 1? That shit was hilarious. But, that being said, fuck Pokemon non-Land 2 player. Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Dude, Digimon fan, Splat Rat?
No.
What
He's
they
saying,
can do is with Pokemon, like with the Switch, is they can have.
he's
like,
saying
a massive
non-land.
player.
Yeah, non-land.
Oh, I thought you were just saying fuck Pokemon.
No. He's saying non-land 2-player. Whereas back in the day with the Game Boys, you had your little link cable and you played that way. That was land 2-player.
Yeah.
Which I don't think the Switch can do.
Well,
Pokemon.
the 3DS is where all the Pokemon games are now on. They have infrared, so now you can sit in a lobby. There's 4 people can play a 4-player match. Like
That's
in
pretty.
Pokemon,
I mean, that's pretty badass.
without cable.
That's pretty badass.
And that's the Switch is going to have that capability where 8 people are going to be in a lobby together.
Speaking of Pokemon, does Pokemon Go make a comeback or is it dead forever?
I mean, Pokemon Go. I mean, they just release the
It died with the
Generation
weather.
2.
It died with the weather. So
No, I mean it got a little uptick in people just a little bit when Gen 2 came out.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the casuals are done playing.
Yeah.
Like only the hardcores are still playing.
I still have it installed, but I don't think I've played it in a while.
Nah,
but
I deleted
so
it.
I'm not
Splat
a
Rat,
Pokeball
since you're a
pro.
big fighting game guy, and you seem to be a big Smash guy also. I know actually a couple pro Smash players. Are you in that community? Like, are you one of those guys who are
SpongeBob 100.
competitive?
What's up,
Are you a
man?
competitive
Or
Smash player?
SpongeBob 100.
SpongeBob 100. What's going on, man?
SpongeBob.
We are boys, but trust me, we're not from the hood.
Where I live is not the hood. It ain't the hood.
We are far from the hood right now. Like, I mean, we live off 8 Mile.
Fighting
though.
game. Oh, fighting girl.
We
That's
are.
sweet. Okay.
We are right off 8 Mile.
Okay.
Yeah, we live off 8 Mile, just west of Detroit.
So,
like 20
do you
minutes.
play like competitive fighting games, or do you enter tournaments and shit, or do you like just casual play, just play with your friends? I mean, I just play with friends. Like whenever I go to this man's house, we always play Smash. And we always get crazy with it and scream and yell
and get
it's awesome.
destroyed?
And yeah, I'm not the greatest. I haven't been really good at Smash since like the Wii version and even earlier, like the Nintendo 64. I was a beast at back in the day, but the new versions I am nowhere near as good. Granted, it's essentially the same game, but I don't know what it is. I just can't keep up.
I call myself a gatekeeper with Smash Brothers. Anybody that's better than me, go play professional because you'll do really well. Anybody who's like, and I'll just crush any like other people. Like any professional people, I can give them a run for their money. I can never
I'm really
win, but
good at putting up a fight in Super Smash.
The hood is where the heart is. Always, my man.
Now,
I'm not
the game-
very good at winning.
The game I'm
but
calling
very
out
good at
everybody
putting up a
right now,
fight.
and you can't touch me in, is Mario Kart 8. Sorry, guys, but
What?
It's another game on
I'll
N64 and Wii. I was so good.
crush you.
Dave and Buster's right now. Let's go.
No. I said Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, not the Dave and Buster's. That's not even made by Nintendo.
Bro, you can't even beat me at Dave and Buster's.
cheated.
Oh bullshit! How did I cheat? What? Because I drift?
You hit me.
Oh.
You're supposed to drift in Mario
Yeah.
Nobody hit me.
Oh.
That's the point of the game in Mario Kart. You have items to hit
I
other
will
people.
say, and I play Smash now and again, but I'm not competitive.
It's too easy.
I'm a casual.
The hood's where the heart is.
Fighters 98. You wouldn't love that game. Super casual Tekken. That game's only fun with friends. I agree. Tekken is a game that you need to play with friends. But I know a guy who's a Street Fighter 4 pro. A couple of them actually. I know some Smash pro players.
You have
also.
3 arcade sticks. Nice. Are they all
Awesome.
like different designs, like different colors?
You know what game I really do wish they'd bring back at least something similar is Duck Hunt. I had so much fun with Duck Hunt.
What's our
I
YouTube?
had- It's the link is actually underneath the video here. If you just press the link down below, it should take you to our YouTube. I can also post
This will be posted on YouTube later on.
Yeah, it will be posted. up on
Literally
YouTube.
right after the
Yeah,
show.
I exported
You
it immediately.
upload directly to
I
YouTube.
exported it immediately over to it. So let me grab you the channel link here.
Just post in the chat.
And you guys can find me on gamerswitattitude.com.
Yep.
I'm Pac-Man Mike and Gamerswit, W-I-T. That's
W-I-T.
There you go.
very specific. Otherwise, you won't find us.
Yeah.
GWA for short.
We also do have our shows up on iTunes as well. You just search up the Fan Report, and we have our first 4 episodes up there.
So subscribe to
we're
the
gonna
Fan
be-
Report, subscribe to Gamers
Gamers
with
with
Attitude. On,
We're going to be adding
iTunes.
more shows throughout the next coming weeks. You'll also maybe seeing some upgrades in equipment on the show coming soon too. We're going to be putting a little bit more money into this too. So we like doing it. We decided we want to keep doing it. Obviously, considering we're on like our 20th show now, so we're just going to keep doing it. So we appreciate you guys coming out. But that's my totally selfish plug, total sellout mode. But beyond that. No, Duck Hunt's a game that I really wish would come back.
Well, follow us on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at RealFanReport down below. That side.
Gamers with Attitude.
Remember, buy the big blue guy.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of it.
I have a
yeah, all of
Tatsunoko vs. Capcom,
Oh, yeah.
Mad Catz arcade stick for the Wii U, a Street Fighter 4, Xbox 360, Mad Catz arcade stick, and PS2 May
We
Flash.
should have
arcade
put a
stick.
Gamers with Attitude on the
Oh
mic.
man, so you got
Yeah.
what?
So we should have put a Gamers with Attitude thing under mic on the screen.
Shut up. No, that's pretty sweet though. I never really got too into the different controllers for games. Like I had everybody always had for the driving games like the wheel. Everybody always had one of those.
I had
and the
the Wii.
pedals, and I had the Wii
So-
wheel. I had the golf club. I had the
But did you ever have the gun?
yes.
I had the gun for the Super Nintendo, and then I had a system. I forgot what it was called. It was something I got from the mall.
Are you
No.
talking about the duck hunt gun?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I had that too.
Yeah, and I had it again for system. It had like all these like.
Do we support
Super
Donald
Nintendo
Trump?
games.
We actually stay as far away from politics in this show as completely possible.
Yeah.
Completely.
So, completely possible. We will not
'Cause
talk politics in the show unless it's
Politics and mainstream media is a sham anyway.
sports, unless it's sports, unless it's politics and sports, and it has nothing to do with politicians. We'll talk. We'll talk about it. But if it's actual politicians and politics, country politics or world politics, not my thing. I stay as far away from it as possible, especially on this show.
He does have a majestic orange hue about him, though.
He looks like a blonde Cheeto.
Anyway, I have 2 Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Fight Pads, a Chun-Li one, and
Oh, if we're going controllers, I have a
hell yeah,
PlayStation
that's
2
sweet.
Sub-Zero controller.
Oh, that's
I
Controllers. I
have
have a wireless PS4 controller, and one of them is white.
Ooh.
Condition.
I have a Mega Man GameCube controller from like Mega Man X.
Oh, that's sweet.
I have a Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Gold Wiimote from the game.
Oh, that's cool.
I have my Fight Pad from the Wii U, or my gamepad is Legend of Zelda themed, and I have what else? I have a Mario controller. I have a Luigi controller, Samus, Wario,
Nice,
Yoshi.
Nice.
and they're all like the Fight Pads from like. The
Well, your
the
collection
GameCube.
way outweighs mine. I have the Gears of War Edition Xbox that came with the controllers. Back in the day, I lost a lot of shit in a fire in my house, but I'm trying to remember what I had. I had a ton of wheels.
Yeah, sorry
I
about
used-
that, by the way.
Yeah, that was many years ago. I'm over it.
Yeah, no, like I'm sorry. I started rapping in your house and things caught fire.
Oh.
Get off my show. But no. God, what else did I have? Oh man, I had so much shit.
Oh, I wish
I
I
didn't
could get
quite
the Resident
have
Evil
that.
4. I don't know what it looks like.
Resident Evil 4 game controller, that
Let's
was the
see.
most badass controller ever. Ooh, that does sound like it'd be pretty sweet. But going
Let's
back in
find
the
out.
day, I had a few different styles of N64 controllers. A few different colors. I mean, I think I had a Pokemon version. I had Game Boys that were Pokemon oriented. I had another really fun one was Game Boy Pocket.
Is that the chainsaw one? That's so sick.
What? That is
That's
awesome.
the I remember that controller. Those are so rare.
Show it to the camera.
That's so, okay.
Let the
You
camera
guys,
see the
if you
chainsaw
guys,
controller.
let the guy with the
let's
8-foot
get
arms
a
do it.
full screen here.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but this controller is awesome. Resident Evil 1 was the best.
Oh,
The new
Well,
Resident
there it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Resident Evil
Yeah.
1 on PS1 was the best. The new Resident Evil
Yeah,
PS4
model
PS2
off
not so good.
chainsaw.
Okay, the Resident Evil 1 on PS1, I played the shit out of that game, and that game was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Actually, was what made me kind of fall in love with the Resident Evil franchise. So I definitely think that game was awesome, no doubt. But man, what other games? What other games would you say would you want them to bring back? I mean,
Time Splitters.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie, that was the game I was actually trying to think of.
The makers of Banjo-Kazooie.
Have
there's
they?
a new-
Okay, I gotta
There's
ask.
a new game
Are
coming
they
out.
gonna be bringing a game? Are they gonna have a game for Nintendo Switch for Donkey Kong?
I don't know yet. However,
I
the
hope
makers
so.
of Banjo-Kazooie, they kickstarted a game called Ukulele, and that's coming out this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Did they
it's the
So
spiritual
it's similar. It's a
They
yeah.
did
spiritual
bring back-
successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay.
That reminds me, they did bring back one of the N64 games. The Fox guy. I can't remember the name of it.
Star Fox?
No. It's like the really fast Fox dude.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Tails.
No. Wait, what?
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
No. People were mad about his design, even though I didn't think it was that far off from the original character.
You're not thinking of Spyro, are you?
No, not Spiral.
3D Rayman needs to come back.
3D Rayman.
Oh,
okay.
because like the Rayman games that
I used to love
Yeah.
Rayman
they've been
for
amazing,
64.
but they're in 2D.
Right.
So
Rayman
like,
was pretty
like a
sweet.
3D Rayman would be awesome.
Gotta go. Have a good one. Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thanks
for
a
the
lot,
follow.
dudes. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Spy Rat. Hope you have a great night.
That was Adam.
No, that's Adam.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Balzrog and Adam.
Balls right, yeah.
Thanks, Adam. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for saying Spy Rat.
But oh man, there's so many games that I played the shit out of. I mean, going back, I played the shit out of MLB 98. I played the shit out of Madden 99. I mean, I
remember
old school.
I had MLB 98.
That game was awesome, but it
Yeah.
was so bad. Like it was okay. It was great.
I only played Home Run Derby, really.
Okay, I mean, in all honesty, I probably only really played Home Run Derby. I remember I was so young playing one of the. I think it was even before MLB 98, but it probably was. Yeah, it probably was MLB 98 because I would have been real young. But when I was playing this game and the announcers, you'd throw the ball at a base and he would be safe, but I was too young to fully understand what the commentator meant. And he said, "Not in time," so I'd go, "Yes! I got him out." And then I'd be like, "Wait, he stayed on the base," but come to find out not in time meant he was safe. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, but peace, night, fellas. Hey, thanks for coming out, Omega Fresh. Thanks for the follow again. That was awesome. So have a good night. But I played the sports games from the very beginning. No doubt, from like the very beginning that I can remember. So I've always played them. I've owned probably 18 to 20 different Madden games. So
I've owned like one Madden game, but I also own NFL Quarterback Club 98 for N64.
I own
Nice.
Madden.
Yeah,
I had
Barry
Madden
Sanders
64.
was a monster in that
yes,
game.
he was. Barry Sanders
Oh.
was a monster in real life.
Yeah, he
But,
was.
Another game that I loved to play was NFL Blitz.
I mean, all
That game was
the
fun.
funky sports games.
Busted
NBA
Groove.
Jam,
Yeah, NBA Jam.
NFL Blitz, NHL
Hey,
Hits.
before Bust, you guys ever play
NBA.
Bust a Groove on
should bring back
PS1?
Bust
Oh, I love Busted. I call it
yeah,
Bubbles.
Yeah, Buster Groove. Okay.
Buster
FIFA.
Yes, Buster Move. Or
Okay.
Buster Groove or Move?
If you're not a soccer fan, I can get why you would say FIFA sucks. I personally love FIFA and think it's probably one of the best, most well-made.
Are you generally not
Oh,
a
it's
fan of
easily the
sports
best
games?
sports
most
franchise.
well-made sports franchise of them all.
It's
I mean,
also the most popular worldwide, people.
It is the most popular.
Yeah.
worldwide, but
What
if you're not a soccer fan,
And
and
what if she's just not a fan of sports?
exactly,
games?
if you're that's another thing. But if you're not a soccer fan to begin with, I can get why you would think FIFA would suck because it's literally nothing but soccer. And they up until this year, they never really implemented a storyline to it. Granted, I like the storyline that they implemented in FIFA 17 for the career mode, like you've seen with the NBA games. But Mario Smash, football.
Mario Strikers Charge are the best.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
NFL
Mario
games-
Strikers
okay,
Charge.
football?
Backyard football was a great game going on. There's no doubt about that. But NFL Blitz was a lot of fun. NBA Jam was a lot of
Dude,
fun.
the
NBA Hoops.
NFL Blitz the
was a lot
League
of
for
fun.
PS3.
NFL Blitz the League was awesome.
Ruptured
FIFA 2001
scrotums and
PC
all.
was good though.
Oh my god, that was awful.
Oh my god, the rupture. Yeah, all the injuries, but the rest sucks. See, I disagree. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion about it, but I disagree. I think the FIFA franchise
I
are the best
disagree.
sports games. I mean, they're a lot of fun to play. There's replayable ability with them, obviously with the sports game, but I think they can add more to their franchise modes, but at the same time, there's only so much you can add. So, but again, though, I can see how people wouldn't like sports games, especially FIFA, because they're very repetitive, and you have to really be a fan of the sport to want to play them. So I
Yeah.
get that.
I did buy the one Madden game, and then I'm like, I played it a while, and then I'm
But
like,
the
I'm
thing
not
is,
getting
though,
the
is
next
if
one.
you played a Madden game within the last 5 years, you've played the next 5. So I mean, they've all been Madden.
Well,
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash
That's the game I was
Bandicoot.
saying that they recently redid.
Oh,
That's a
well,
good game.
they haven't redone it yet. They're in the process of
I
redoing
thought they
it.
released it.
No.
Oh, I thought
That
they
is a
released
good
I
that.
think it's this year.
But okay, sticking on the same thing. Hey, thanks for the follow, SpongeBob. Wow, we
Yeah.
messed that up. SpongeBob 100. Thanks for the follow, man. Thanks for coming out also. But a game that I really do want them to bring back is Donkey Kong. I think they should make it a la story of Donkey Kong 64. Go somewhat similar with that.
Oh, you want like a 3D Donkey Kong?
Yes, 3D Donkey Kong
Okay,
game.
yeah.
Where you go around a world and you do quests and things like that. I had a lot of fun playing Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah,
A shit ton of fun.
Yeah, I love the country games.
So,
2D side scrollers, like the
Yeah, those
Tropical
are fun
Freeze,
too. Yeah,
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Wii U.
yeah.
Amazing, actually, it was really good.
Those games. I mean, don't get me wrong. The side score games for Donkey Kong were. I mean, that's.
I would
Donkey
say
Kong
harder than
original.
Mario. That would definitely say harder than Mario.
I can agree. I can see that. Yeah, no
especially
doubt.
the new one, like Tropical Freeze. I'm like, wow, like if you just keep going and jumping, like trying to do everything like in a smooth motion, you're gonna die because like it's gonna like throw up a wall or like throw open a pit, and you're like, oh crap. Okay.
Again,
I won't do that this time.
Obama loser, not sure if you're still watching, but Francisco Lindor, the Cleveland Indians, just hit a grand slam the 9th inning to put your team to bed.
He's to put the Rangers to bed.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I know you weren't here. I don't know if you saw me say this last week, but I do kind of like the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit of a fan of them, but at the same time, I will eternally hate the Rangers for all the years that they gave the Tigers troubles in the ALCS and the ALDS and stuff.
Yeah,
so that
I'm
will
a little sour
eternally
about that too.
make me sour about the Rangers. But
And
at
then
the
they
same
go
time,
lose in the World Series, the Rangers.
Yeah, they
Come on, at least win the World Series.
Silly
Come on.
Rangers.
Well, I mean, as a Tigers fan, I can't really talk.
on,
We went to the World
Bengals!
Series and we got crushed both times.
Yeah, which they really should have beat. I think that they really let us down against the Giants. I think that was a really winnable series for them. They should have won that one, but they got swept. But Mega Max is awesome also.
You'd be in the Hall of Fame. Come on, Nichols, score for once.
Sports. But Mega Max. Okay.
Mega Max?
I'm trying to think of Mega Max.
You mean Mega Man?
Mega
or
Man,
Mighty
yeah.
Max.
Mega Man was awesome. I did like Mega Man. Mega Man was a lot of fun to play.
I mean, I played a bunch of the
You guys know
Mega
what
Man.
Mega Max? Mega Max was when they put Mega Man inside the Mad Max universe.
What? That's not... What? No!
This man's the ultimate troll. Just FYI, he's the ultimate troll.
Last show I interrupted Nick in the middle of his rant to ask if I would look good in a handlebar mustache.
Yeah. And I was on like a full-on rant. Like I was in the middle.
Oh my God.
Which there's some good rants in the history of the show. I had a LeBron James rant that went on for like 20 minutes where I just trashed the shit out of the man. And he had
Was this
DC rant.
after he went for Miami? Like left for
No.
No.
This was recent when he like called out his franchise saying they're not spending enough money.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
Just
then
shut up.
his rant on DC was great also. But I mean, I went hard on LeBron.
Mega Man X was the best Mega Man game. I mean, it's hard to argue that, but like I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of the Mega Man Battle Network games that came out for the 3D or for the Game Boy Advance
You know that
with
one
the battle chips and like, yeah, he was like in the computer and stuff, and they battled each other.
You know
So
what?
let me ask you this then: stay away from your mainstream consoles. What was your favorite handheld console?
I'd have to say Game Boy Advance SP, honestly.
Mine
I
would
love
be.
the SP, but the PSP just... I loved it.
I
Not
played
enough
PSP.
games for the PSP.
Yeah, that was
That's
the problem.
true.
There was not enough games for the
Because
PSP.
for the Game Boy Advance, you get all the
really
Game
Okay,
Boy games.
mine would be the Game Boy Advance. You got the original Game Boy games, and the Game Boy Advance was
because
awesome.
you got up to 3 generations of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played the Mega Man Battle Network.
Sadly,
Super
Nintendo
Smash
won't
Bros.
I
license
played
out
Link to
Mario
the Past
to
the first
others.
time on it.
But I see Nintendo's keep Mario for themselves, sadly. So
They should make a SpongeBob Super Smash Bros. For PS3. Obviously, it's a Nintendo franchise.
Well,
so
no,
that
they
wouldn't
had
happen.
PlayStation All Stars for that.
Yes,
one.
they did have PlayStation.
Which was
All-Stars, but
okay. It was
okay,
a
but
good fighting
it'll
game.
never live up to Super Smash. You'll
Yeah.
never get a style of that game that will
Yeah,
live
plus-
up because of the characters built.
The
in.
characters too,
Yeah.
but Sony
Yeah, that.
Sony has a lot of characters they could have used, but they chose not to.
I'm a little disappointed that you can't one-hit KO
Yeah,
Mega Man
Hadouken.
Smash with it. Yeah.
that's what I said. That's it.
Well, I didn't read
Hadouken!
it yet. Didn't read it yet.
The original purple GBA was great.
The original purple. Yes, that is exactly the one I'm talking about. The original purple Game Boy Advance, in my opinion,
I
was
had
the
an
best
SP.
handheld.
It was perfect. It had the same amount of screen. It
I
could-
thought the SP was too scrunched, though. I thought the Game Boy
I
Advance
love the
had.
SP.
I thought the Game Boy Advance had the
It
perfect
worked.
wide format. The hands, it fit well. It just worked well
I,
for me. I felt the Game Boy SP.
But
SP
you're
was
quite a
little
bit smaller than me, and I was fine with it.
I still didn't really. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know.
Purple just remind me of something.
Yeah, it's not
The-
hard.
the height
It's
you-
not. Let's be honest. It's not hard to be smaller than someone who's 6'7".
Yeah, I know. You guys
Purple
can't tell I'm that
is-
tall, but I'm that tall.
He's
Purple
total
just
shit.
remind me of something. I want a new Saints Row. It's not a
Saints Row.
All-Star is terrible. I mean, it's not terrible. It's fine, but I wouldn't say it's great. It's
what is the intended goal or purpose of the stream? Just to hang out and have fun. We just like to talk about sports, talk with you guys, interact with you guys, sports, video games, movies. It's literally a show.
By fans, for fans.
Yes, our mantra is by fans, for fans. We're a fan of movies. We're a fan of sports. Pretty much all sports. Mm-hmm. We're a fan of video games. It's literally a show where we're here.
Cricket.
Except...
Yeah, yes. we're not insiders on
We're not insiders on cricket. Yeah, we're not insiders. We're not analysts. Yes, we'll throw out our opinions and stuff, but at the same time, we're just here to have fun, hang out, and talk shit. Because that's what we like to do. And we'll get into some arguments about sports and other shit because...
Some shows will run long, like today. Some shows will be like an hour long.
If you guys knew us off the air, you'd know that literally how we're talking on here about sports and movies is literally the same exact conversations we have off the air.
That's why we could go for 2.5 hours.
Right. We could literally go on sports. Yeah, we could literally go on and on and on about this stuff, but we try to keep it to a time limit and move along if we ended the topic. So which is why, and we like to have the variety. It's a different type of show than I've ever seen because there's so much variety in it, and we just have fun talking about it all. Yeah. That's we're here to chill, we're here to hang out, we're here to talk to you guys, we're here to talk to each other, and
what's Gamers with Attitude all about?
So, a little bit of a plug here. Gamers with Attitude is similar in that regard. Where
if you didn't know Pac-Man Mike is from.
We played StarCraft, League of Legends. I played them both.
Let him.
Hold on. Yeah, I played them both, but I never really got into either of them.
Let Mike do his thing first.
Well, he was just responding to the question. That's understandable. So we started off as podcasts. I joined in late, one of the last people to join, and I'm a part of a really cool team of guys. And we have a show where we have a rapper who comes in and does raps about different topics.
That's awesome.
He's our main personality. He's Ballsrog. Ballsrog, B-Man, what's up, man? I know you're watching. And so we also have movie news. We have my segment, Game News, which is Blow My Cartridge.
Blow my cartridge.
Yeah, so that's my game news. We mostly focus on Nintendo. Then we also have toy segment where we go to like local comic book shops and get action figures from like the 80s and 90s.
Oh, no way.
And we're actually doing giveaways on our website too. So like, if you guys like our page on our website and on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube.
What's the website?
Pac-Man Space Invaders. Ooh, I gotta go Pac-Man.
Oh, Pac-Man, of course.
Yeah, I gotta go Pac-Man with that
now,
one.
Space Invaders or Galaga. I'd say Galaga over Space Invaders.
Yes, so I'll agree with that.
Galaga. That's how you say it.
Galaga. We're best friends forever.
Yes, we are best friends forever. Best friends forever. Best friends forever.
But one last thing I want to add to the classic game thing. One aspect of a classic game I really want to see brought back is in Madden 64, where when a player would get hurt, an ambulance would drive on the field and really run over the player. That's how I want to bring that back for Madden 18, please.
Yes, please. Do you think we should use a certain percentage of the props of the NFL, NBA, etc.? No, and here's why. Because the NFL...
That's a great question, though.
It is a good question. It is a good question. And the reason I say...
is Space Invaders Extreme.
Yes, but the reason I say no to that, Noah, is because... The NFL, the NBA, and the MLB and all that are completely privately owned. Mm-hmm. They're not something that has anything to do with the government. They're completely separate.
And they get tax breaks all the time, and they're not even getting that money. We're not even getting that.
And I think that what they do to the military to charge them to run their charities is a complete scam and should not happen. I think they should donate some money to the military, not charge the military.
So that's one way of getting back to the military. Don't charge them.
Right. But also I do think they should donate some of the money, but mandating a certain percentage of profits of their league revenue to military, to help fund the military. I really don't think
it should just be more of a trend started by a few major franchises.
Yes, but it's not that I want to see it's not that I want to see them donate to the military. It's that I want to see them donating to Wounded Warriors Project or housing the veterans, homeless veterans, groups
or
like that. It's not that I want to have them.
It's
not that yes, please, but it's not that I want to see them donate money to the actual and fund the military. It's that I want to see them donating to the after effects charities of it. So your Wounded Warrior Project, things like that. So and not charge the military for coming and advertising those things.
It would be an amazing gesture by the NBA if they did it.
What?
Have one night of the year, like for just NBA, for example.
Nintendo.
NBA, for example, have one night of the year during the season where they dedicate all ad revenue all player salary, all ticket revenue, just one night.
You're asking a shit ton of
It's a lot, but it's one night. It's one night where they. I mean, obviously the teams are. It's optional for teams to participate, but you have to get permission from the teams to do it, and then they donate all that money to.
Well, I mean, the stadiums
charities.
always have like 50-50 raffles.
That would be great to do, but okay.
There's enough money where you can spread around and donate different places.
Staying on the same. Bomberman, yeah.
It's out on the Nintendo Switch now too. It's a launch title.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a launch title on the Switch.
But staying on a similar topic, SpongeBob, or not SpongeBob.
U.S. Marine Corps is really underfunded.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for your service, Noah.
Thanks for your service, Noah. We appreciate that a lot. But staying on the same topic, Noah, one thing I do want to see these professional teams do, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, is I want to see these professional teams and owners giving back to the cities that they're taking money from to have these stadiums, that they're building these stadiums and running these teams.
Example of it actually going right is when Hurricane Katrina came through and the New Orleans Saints really stepped up
and gave back to that city. Absolutely, because without that city, New Orleans Saints aren't the New Orleans Saints. They don't exist.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's obviously true for every single sports franchise. So I think these teams need to start giving back to their cities more. The players donate their time a lot and donate a lot of money. I'm talking the owners and the actual teams donating to the public school systems in their cities, donating to the neighborhoods and the beautification projects of these cities and neighborhoods to help better the cities as a whole. Not just the downtown areas that we're seeing like in Detroit. I'm talking the whole thing, the whole enchilada over here. Yeah. Help the neighborhoods. Why are they not helping the schools? That's huge for me, is help the damn schools in these inner cities, because they really, really, really do need it. Especially in a city like Detroit, where we have some so stupidly rich owners that have so much money in their pockets that they could give to these schools that really need it. No doubt the military does.
They could have the school named after them, even.
Fuck it, for all I care. Name it after you, name it after your kid, name it after your dog, for all I care. Help these schools out. They really do need it big time.
I agree. They should bring the best out of their homes.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Bring the best out of their homes. And you know what? The homes include the people in it. It's not a home without the family. And the families, as every team will tell you, the family is also part of the fans and the people involved with the fans. They are part of that home, and if you don't give back to them and help them out, you're only as good as what your lowest quality is. Yeah. And if your inner cities are not looking good, and if you have your neighborhoods that are downtrodden or your schools that are downtrodden, it doesn't preach that you have hope for your city in the future. Yeah. So if you're gonna donate money, that's a great place to start, no doubt. I do think the USMC, the Marine Corps, is a little bit underfunded. They definitely do need to find other ways.
I mean, all branches of the military.
All branches of the military you can argue are a little bit underfunded.
Now, I will say one thing about Donald Trump. He has said that he is going to raise funding for the branches of the military.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying.
Yes, and in my opinion, he's put
excellent people that are unhappy from where he's cutting it, though.
Yeah, that's a different story. Yeah. But he's put excellent people in place in Department of Homeland Security and Secretary of Defense that are going to lead our military into great heights. So, but anyways, thanks again for your service, man. That was way more politics than I really wanted to do. Thanks again for your service. We really, really, really do appreciate that a lot. Sorry for the random questions, but it sucks a lot being away from home. Sucks religion, you guys, and doesn't work.
Oh, religion too?
Oh, religion questions. Oh, man.
Okay.
Well, I'm Catholic.
I grew up Catholic.
Catholic.
I was also Catholic. I will say I was born and raised Catholic. No longer practicing though.
Half practicing Catholic.
Yeah, I'm like C&E, Christmas and Easter.
and as far as does it work, I'm a believer of whatever religion you practice, as long as you practice properly and practice in a way that works.
Exactly.
For
I'm
you.
a firm believer in that also. Yeah. If you practice and believe in peace and love and kindness,
and you practice religion in a way that
there's
works
nothing
for you,
wrong. It doesn't matter who you pray to or whatever.
As soon as you cross the line into violence, that's when I lose all
doesn't
respect.
matter in my opinion who you pray to or whatever. Have a belief and that's it. That's cool with me.
So, I mean, there's peaceful Muslims, there's peaceful Christians, but
exactly.
What I'm just really mad about sometimes with religion is like you get all these Christians like coming after the Muslims
right
now.
It's so polarizing.
It's polarizing, but all these Christians forget that Christianity had a dark side too.
Yes.
Spanish Inquisition, Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Like they would literally torture and kill people for having different ideas than they would.
Crusades.
Oh, like
hello. Transgender rights since politics and religion has been brought up. Oh my God, we can't. This is a runaway train. This is like going on YouTube and just watching YouTube videos for hours on end, which I've done so many times. It's a black hole.
So for that, be you. Like,
live your
treat
life.
every person as a person. And you identify them as what they want to be identified as.
I live under a motto of treat people how you want to be treated, and that's just
Golden
how I
rule.
deal with it. Yep, treat people how you
People
want
are
to be
people.
treated. People are people.
Whether that be, it doesn't matter what you have between your legs. It really doesn't.
Yep, it really doesn't. So, or
There
in your
should
head.
be no human being that doesn't have rights.
No,
You're-
exactly. So,
But
And use whatever bathroom you damn well please, okay?
Do you guys
Moving on from
have
that-
anything else to add for classic video?
Yeah, I wanted to make a note about Splat Rat. They mentioned Bomberman and being in Smash. Now, here's a thought. I wanted to make a little prediction here for Super Smash Brothers. They're re-releasing the one for the Switch, or for the one that came out for Wii U. They're bringing to the Switch, just like Mario Kart 8, the Deluxe Edition. But my prediction is they're going to have a couple more characters in the roster, and Splat Rat bring up a good point. It could be in Smash in the next round because they did release Bomberman for the Switch.
okay.
So not only that, they're going to also have the Ice Climbers back. They're bringing the Ice Climbers back because the Ice Climbers, the coding was all finished in the new game that came out for both the 3DS and the Wii U. However, they couldn't get it to work on the 3DS because of how small the screen was when it became 4 Ice Climbers on the same at the screen at the same time. Literally, when there was like 8 little characters running around on the small little screen, it just overloaded the 3DS.
Right.
So they had to they scratched the whole thing, and they were just like, we want continuity between the two systems, so we want everything the same, even though they had 2 separate game modes depending on what games. It just didn't make any sense. But I think Ice Climbers will be in the game, as well as Bomberman. And I don't know, they might add a couple more characters, but those are my 2 predictions for the new game.
I have no reason to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously have a lot more intel on this than I do, but so, anyways, to go back to the last topic, I think we're all on a wait when it comes to if Bomberman gets in Smash. All my childhood characters will be in Smash. Ryu,
Wario, Bomberman.
Yeah.
Now, Ryu was a fan voted character, and like, he was.
Should we address SpongeBob? We just kind of skipped SpongeBob.
Okay, when it comes to people forcing you to be Christians, I mean, you got people that force you to be in all religions. There's Jews that force you to. I mean, there's Jews that force you to be that try to force you to be Jewish. There's Muslims try to force you to be Muslim. It happens all across the world.
Also, Jehovah's Witnesses
exactly.
coming to your door.
Exactly, Jehovah's Witness is another example.
Do
what works for you, and do what you want to believe in is what I gotta say. So, but
I just
as
believe
long as you have a solid moral code, as long as you're
a solid moral code,
just
and
person,
you just
do what works.
be
for
positive.
be positive, be peaceful,
And you
be
draw
kind.
positive energies toward you as positive. If you're negative, you're going to bring negatives toward you. Always think of the glasses half full. But in my case, maybe you should try to.
PC Master Race. Woo!
Think of the glass as always full.
Yes.
Half water and half air. And that's how you should be optimistic in your life.
Optimism.
But anyways, going back to the video games, PC Master Race for sure, definitely down with that. But that's why consoles are like 4 years behind PCs.
I know.
Anyways,
I know.
Nintendo Switch. So let me ask you this.
Yes, it's true.
But the Xbox, in my opinion, isn't that great. One thing that Xbox has that I don't think any other console has, and no, the PS4 doesn't, is they have backwards compatible titles. It's not many.
Touche, Microsoft. Touche.
It's not many, but they have backwards compatible titles, and it basically has gone off of they've done it with, I forgot what game they just did it. They just released it recently, where if you owned the game on Xbox 360 under your gamer tag, you can download it from the Microsoft Store on your Xbox One, which I think is totally awesome and something that I think should be brought back across all platforms.
Now they did that with the PlayStation 3. Like I think certain titles that you owned on PlayStation Store, you can download on the PS4.
Yes, correct. But see, I think it should be all platforms, all titles that you owned should be backwards compatible. Because I'll tell you right now, I'll play the shit out of some of the PS1 games that I used to own, or I'll play the shit out of some of the PS2 games that I used to own. I'll tell you right now, I'd be playing them like crazy. And I'd still be buying games for the PS4, because why not? I mean, I love playing the new games, but there's times where I want to have that nostalgia of playing the old one. So I think all platforms should be backwards compatible, and I think all titles should be too.
Nintendo has done a good job in recent years of being backwards compatible with the Game Boy Advance, going back with
Good
the
night,
DS.
boys. Nice chatting with you guys. I'm gonna head out. Peace. All right. See you later, SpongeBob. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for coming out tonight and chatting with us. Love to have. Hope you come back. We'd love to see you again. So
don't let anyone make you anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
I don't care for
thanks again for coming out, man.
Person.
Hope to see you back again soon.
Yeah. See you
we'll
later.
be back either Friday or Saturday night. We'll let you guys know on Twitter beforehand. So So we do tweet out before a few hours before the show that we're going live. So hope to see you this weekend.
Now,
Yeah, so follow us on
Nintendo
Twitter if you want to know.
has taken a step back though with the Switch. They basically have separated themselves from the Wii U and the Wii, and
Which I
made
kind
everything
of
new.
saw them doing when they announced the Switch. I kind of did see them taking a step away from the Wii kind of franchise. I think they want to let the Wii franchise be its own thing. Kind of like the GameCube was almost like a precursor to the Wii, but was still kind of its own thing. And the N64 was along the lines of the NES, the Super Nintendo. It was in another franchise line. It was like a trilogy kind of. So I think they tried to kind of do with the Nintendo Switch, step away from the Wii U and the Wii format.
Well, and also the Wii U was named terribly because being a former employee at GameStop, I was encountering a lot of customers coming in. It's like, hey, what's the Wii U? Isn't it just like the Wii? I'm like, no, it's a totally
that is a
different
pretty
system.
terrible name. I'm not gonna lie.
And then people are like, wait, why is it called that? I'm like, that's just how they named it. They're like, well, that's dumb. I don't
That's
want
a pretty terrible name. You know what else I think is a terrible name is Xbox One. I think that's a terrible name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
It's such a
they
bad
want to be
idea.
the all-in-one home entertainment
Yeah, I get
system.
that. I get that. I get that, but at the same time, it's not the Xbox One, it's the Xbox 3.
Technically.
Called Xbox ES. Xbox
Yeah.
Entertainment
But it
System.
can't be the Xbox 3 because they already have an Xbox 360.
Exactly. So they fucked shit up by calling it the Xbox
It's recycled
360.
the same Mario trash.
There's nothing original.
Hey, Mario's not trash.
Mario was fantastic.
Like, granted, it's the same kind of game mechanic, but I mean, it's tried and true, and they keep making improvements on it.
That's
And
kind of what
no
makes...
Mario game feels the same.
But see, the thing is
honestly.
though, is that's what makes Nintendo. They'll always be... It should have been the Xbox 720, you're right, but
But that would have been 2 circles.
yes.
Woo!
But that's what makes Nintendo. They have their niche market that nobody will ever touch, and they're happy to stick with that. It makes them enough money to be relevant, and that's what they're going to stick with. And it works because nobody's going to touch a game like Super Mario. Nobody's going to touch a game like Mario Kart, or Donkey Kong, or Star Fox, or anything of the sorts. You're not going to come close to it. They're going to stay in their niche market, and they're going to continue that route, which, in my opinion, is the best market strategy for them. They're not trying to compete with the PS4 titles or the Xbox titles.
No, they're not.
They're staying in their market, they're staying in their platform, and rolling with that, which you can argue is the same recycled stuff. But at the same time, that same recycled stuff is loved by millions upon millions of people. And they want that
Plus,
same
you got
recycled
a lot
stuff.
of parents loving this now, teaching their kids.
Yes,
about the
exactly.
wonders of
Exactly.
Nintendo.
You have... There's people that are passing the Nintendo franchise down through generations now. And it's loved by a niche market.
That's how I got onto Nintendo.
Exactly, it's
My
loved by a
dad
niche
passed down
market,
his
and you know what?
entertainment
Fans of
system to me.
Nintendo will forever be fans of Nintendo, and so will their kids. They'll always be fans of Nintendo. They'll always want to continue to play the Super Marios. They'll always want to play the Mario Kart games, the Smash Brothers games. You'll never see them stray away from that. And
Yeah.
that's my any celebrity crushes. But that's kind of my
Anna
Anna
Kendrick,
Kendrick.
really?
Yes.
I have 2.
Gal Gadot.
Well, Blake Lively for me for sure.
Selena
Oh,
Gomez.
Blake Lively too. Like,
Oh,
but
God.
Anna Kendrick for me is my
And
top. But
Ryan
Blake
Reynolds.
Lively.
No. no.
They
Ryan
make an
Reynolds is
awesome
cool,
couple.
but
Gal
they do make an
Gadot,
awesome
Selena
couple.
Gomez, Emma
Ryan Reynolds is
Watson.
awesome, but not a celebrity crush. But Blake Lively
Speak
for
for
sure.
yourself
What?
about Ryan Reynolds.
What?
Shit.
What?
I said speak for yourself about not liking Ryan Reynolds as your celebrity crush.
But-
Oh my god.
No homo, Ryan Reynolds. You're just a dude, bro, and you're awesome.
He's gorgeous. I'll admit to that.
Very handsome.
He's
fellow.
a very handsome man.
There was one like dudes over there I just want to hang out with.
Hell yeah! I totally love to have a beer with Ryan Reynolds.
Also, all of James Franco's crew. James Franco, Seth Rogen, like.
Oh my god, I literally would just love to hang out with them and just be like, dude.
Yeah.
let me listen to you for an
pass a
hour.
little Gonzo around, like just a little bit here.
I have a crush on Evo Street Fighter player. Evo Street Fighter player named Guilty.
Is that really a celebrity crush?
Is that a celebrity?
I mean, depends on the community, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if you're into it, yeah, for sure. But no, Nintendo stays in their niche, and they're not going to stray away from it, and I don't think they should, because that's where their fans are going to love it, and their fans are always going to play it. So going with that, yeah, I got to fix the MooBot, but that's kind of my standpoint on that. So
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo does what works.
yeah, and it does work for them because they continue to make it.
Now, and there's haters out there. They're like, well, it's the same game every time. Well, I mean, obviously they improve on the formula.
Yes, they improve, they add things to it, and they improve on the formula. They change it up a little bit. but at the same time,
But
it
they don't have a lot of new
works.
IPs.
See, it works for them to run the same style of game. No Michael Cera,
Cera.
though. Oh my god. I'm a fan
Now
of
his
hot
girlfriend
redheads.
in
Okay.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Like,
So like Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, yeah. Emma Watson.
I already said Emma Watson. You can't take
Emma Watson
from
for sure.
Don't take Emma Watson
oh,
from me.
man.
me. Don't you dare.
No, she's mine. Get out of here.
No,
I
said
saw her
okay.
first.
I said her
I
first.
saw her
I got
first.
one too.
You saw her first.
Kate Beckinsale.
Ooh, that is a good one.
That's just out of left field, man.
That's a good
I
one.
know in that underworld leather.
Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, I see you. You know, Emma Stone's not even a real redhead.
You know who is a real
She's not the one.
redhead that's amazing?
It's a lie.
Anna Kendrick.
Yes. No, she's not a real redhead.
This is a lie.
No, she's blonde. Anna Kendrick is pretty good.
Voluptuous.
Yes, I do love Anna Kendrick. You're unbanned. Give me.
Mubot's on one tonight.
Yeah, Mubot is in Nazi mode tonight, but.
Anyway, do you guys have anything else to add?
No, I think we just about exhausted the game stuff.
That's a 3-hour.
That's a 3-hour show. That is by far our longest show, like by far. So, but
By about 50 minutes.
yeah. But, holy shit, guys! I can't say this enough. Thank you so much for coming out. That's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we will be back this week.
Again.
God damn it, Mubot! We will be back this weekend, either Friday or Saturday. We'll let you guys know on Twitter. Thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us. You guys were seriously awesome
And
tonight.
this week will be a beer stream, so
Yes, this weekend is a beer
beers
stream,
ready.
so get your
Most likely Saturday, right?
yeah, most likely
Yeah.
Saturday. But get your drinks ready. You know, we'll be out hanging out with you guys, and I gotta give a big shout out to my boy Pac-Man Mike over here. Thank you so much again for coming out with us tonight.
You are
It
welcome.
was a true pleasure
Go
having you
follow
on the
him at
show.
Gamers with Attitude.
Yeah,
Hit
find me
them
at
up on Gamers with Attitude, GWA. They're a great show. GWA Gamers with Attitude.
gamerswithattitude.com
They're-
or find us on Facebook.
They got a great show. Very entertaining, very fun to very fun to listen to and fun to watch. So definitely.
when we
check
do the
them
online
out.
streaming. It's
Yes.
mostly radio,
Yeah. But
we do the
definitely
videos
fun-
occasionally.
Definitely a fun group of guys. So definitely check them out. But again, guys, thank you so much. If you liked what you saw, thank you so again for the follows tonight. There was a ton of you out there. But
Thanks for being
if
live
you
in
guys,
the chat tonight.
yes, totally, you guys were awesome. But if you guys liked what you saw, please feel free to hit the follow button down below and come back.
Follow us
We
on
hope
Twitter,
to see
Real
you all
Fan
again.
Report.
You can follow us on Twitter at Real Fan Report. Damn it, I did it again. But thanks again, guys. We hope you have a good night. Remember, this is the Fan Report where it's
Bye, fans.
by fans, for fans. So,
Twitter.
Log
hey, thanks for the follow,
Thank
Spider
you
Rat.
for
Yeah,
Thank you for the follow. So again, thank you so much. This has been the Fan Report. I'm gonna do this again because I feel like I messed it up. This has been the Fan Report where it's by fans.
For fans.
There's our selfish plug. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming out. Y'all have a good night.
Plug it
Peace.
plug it in.
Do it.